Babe.
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 Babe. I'm Lara.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is...
Babe.
Hi.
Why do you like holding it?
Because I like to be in control.
Jesus.
Well, and I just like a hold.
All right.
It makes me feel special, like I have something to say.
So we're back in the studio again. Week two.
Week 2 at the table.
Yeah, we're
instead
at
of the couch, which is fine. I've come to peace with it.
Yeah, we have another guest. Now, just so you know, we're not doing weekly guests. We're just not. No.
That's a lot for us to handle, and this just happened to be
actually not a lot for us to handle. It's actually easier.
It's
actually way easier.
It's actually,
it's incredibly easy.
Mm-hmm.
I'd actually be thrilled to have weekly guests.
Yeah.
But we're not going to, because actually we just don't want to.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I have a lot to say always, and sometimes it's like it needs to be the two of us, but not today.
Yeah. but
I say that like in front of the guest.
Yeah. Really making them feel warm and cozy.
I
no, I think that I just want a really curated guest list, because I don't want to bring anyone that is like
we don't want any knowlers.
No knowlers. I want to feel like rest assured that like we're in good hands.
Yeah.
And we're giving the readers what they want.
We are.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So I'm really tired right now. This is actually disgusting, but I'm drinking like this old coffee that Jonathan left, this like half drank coffee. It's disgusting. It's like melted ice.
He found it in the kitchen.
I found it in the kitchen next to like a stack of dishes.
A day old?
No, we got it this morning.
Oh, okay.
It's a Cubano.
Cute.
It's like a 4-shot latte. Woo!
I woke up this morning over, but I didn't drink last night, so I'm unclear.
I don't know.
I took a lot of Adderall and wrote yesterday.
Oh,
so
that's your fucking hangover.
You think so?
Stop. You're like, gee, I wonder what I put in my system.
Is that what it is?
Calm down, Kat Marnell. Jesus. Like, okay, How to Murder Your Life Part 2.
I like burn my hair off and start wearing a wig. I'm like, hey!
You go to Europe for 4 years. That's such a 1%er. Everyone's like, who are they even talking about?
Wait, okay, so I have actually a really fun thing to tell you that I think you'll be interested in. Or it gets to a fun thing. It starts with a not fun thing. So last week I said that my mom had sold her house. And the people that made an offer reneged on the offer, and so it fell through. Yeah, they just like didn't get back to her about like the inspection or whatever, so then the offer fell through. So
I would have killed to have heard that monologue come out.
Well, I heard it all this week. And so now her house is back on the market. So this podcast is brought to you by my mom's house. And if you live in Oklahoma City, you should buy it. And it's a great house.
You lived there, right?
Yeah, I lived there. That's
it's
a huge
celebrity.
And Cher's stepfather lived there before my parents lived there.
Who's Cher?
Gilbert LaPierre.
Who?
You can Google him.
I don't understand. I don't know her.
They were very close. He was like a father to her.
Okay.
My mom said that her gardener had a stroke and never had talked about the share of it all to her before, because he was the gardener for Gilbert, the guy that lived there, Cher's stepfather. And then after his stroke, he just came back to work really quickly, and he told my mom a story that Cher swam naked in the swimming pool there.
Well, of course.
But I think
so. Wait, Cher's lived in your house, or Cher's been to your house?
I don't know. It's TBD. My mom was like, he had a stroke, so I don't know if that he was really saying the truth. It's like, what did you follow up? Like, what's the truth?
Close the loop,
so
Mom.
No one knows, but I think there's a picture of Gilbert holding an Oscar that belongs to Cher in our house, but I don't know where that is either, because I Googled it and couldn't find it, but I'm just saying that's cool.
And it's Oklahoma, so it's like a mansion for $200,000.
It's Oklahoma City, yeah, so it's like a bit, like, it's like what LA people would consider a big house.
Yes. Oh, it is probably huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also her realtor,
I don't know,
is Simon Shingleton, who was on The Real Housewives of OC and helped Vicki Gunvalson's daughter, Brianna, find her.
Oh my God. Wow, honey, you run with a fast crowd.
I know, so
Hollywood
it's very VIP.
The Oscar goes too.
I know, the whole situation's kind of a babe.
Yeah,
buy the house and turn it into a babe.
Okay, I love that. So I was following our friend Jeremy, who's a real estate agent, on Instagram. He was what?
Nothing.
Okay, whatever. So then So then he was like,
loaded.
Oh, stop it. I'm not firing the shot. So basically he was posting about a new home for like 600,000. It was amazing. But it was in West Adams. Like West Adams is like coming up. Like it's like they're trying to make it happen.
West Adams is the Oklahoma City of Los Angeles.
Adams is like seriously like right before the 10. It's like Pico.
It's cute
past.
Over there.
It's like Jefferson and no, it's really kind of not.
No, but it is getting cute because guess what? My old hairstylist, George, the man who invented ombre, he bought a house in West Adams.
No, people are buying houses in West Adams.
He flipped it for like $1.8 million.
If I was smart, which I'm definitely not. I mean, we don't even know how to make money on this podcast, let alone like make money decisions.
We bleed money.
All we know how to do is spend thousands of dollars on this podcast. Yeah. We don't know how. It's a labor of love. We don't even know.
That's why it's so good.
Yeah,
we invest in it.
Yeah, blood, sweat, and dollars. But so if I was really smart, I would actually buy a house in West Adams. I would, because I could just.
Why don't you?
I don't know, because it's just all the way in West Adams. I don't want to do that. I got to go to the gym.
True.
My gym is on Beverly. That's like far.
You'd have to get a home gym.
No.
Okay.
But I mean, if I were smart, I would buy property.
Buy it and flip.
Flip it with what? Silly string? Like, I mean, like, what am I going to do? Get a wrench?
Just like go in there.
A hammer?
Hire someone.
Yeah, hire Jeff Lewis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and flip out together.
Hire Zoila to flip my house, the maid. So anyway, and then he was telling us that telling me that Frogtown is also
Frogtown is chic.
Yeah, chic. I would actually much rather.
I have a friend that just moved to Frogtown, has an insane apartment there. It like rivals like our little duo apartment for like.
Did he buy it?
It wasn't a he. Why do you just assume it's a man? Why do you assume it's a man that bought property?
Can't own property.
It's a woman who rents.
Women can't own property. We know that, Lara. Not in this world. I wish we lived in a different world, but we don't.
I'm calling bullshit.
If I could change things, I would, but we can't. So
welcome to real estate with Lara and Ryan.
Estate.
I think we should just bring in the guests.
Oh, okay. So our guest today, I'm super excited to have because I feel like she's been kind of amused to the podcast.
She's been amused. We've
Karley,
mentioned her.
I'm sorry.
You can't even hold it in anymore.
I'm so weird about how to present guests. I want to excite them, but you know that they know because we literally say this episode of Babe featuring, and we'll say her name so people know.
So people already know.
I know. So it's weird. Why am I even?
I'm bad at introing guests too. I always like flow, especially on Sexy Unique podcasts. I just say the same thing every time.
Yeah, it's so weird. So Karley, I think though, is like a spiritual muse to like the show because we've mentioned you a couple times.
We're both obsessed with your book.
We're obsessed with
and obsessed with you,
and it inspired both of us in different ways,
which we can get into.
Oh man, I'm so excited. I mean, the best reviews I've gotten from my book, which were like only 4, but they're always just like, I read your book and then I made a really bad sexual decision. Basically, it's like the reviews, and I'm like, that makes me feel like it was worth spending 2 years of my life.
Yeah,
totally. 2 years, one bad mistake by a stranger.
If you can change one person's life, worth it.
But I would say that I've had good experiences. And I gave it to my friend Kaylin, who is also obsessed with the book and obsessed with her column and stuff, and she is like devouring it and loves it.
Yeah.
So I think that I think
also,
she needs that. I think,
not
like,
to be lame, but like you're like a real life Carrie Bradshaw. Like you are.
It's not lame. I love that.
Yeah, of course. She owns it.
Some people get like weird about Carrie Bradshaw.
She owns that. She can't own property, but she owns that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because one of the true inspirations for my writing which is the inspiration for Sex and the City, the Candace Bushnell Sex and the City column, like the OG column from the mid-90s, is the darkest thing. If you read it, it's so dark.
The book is dark.
The book is really dark.
I read it looking for lulls and like happiness, and then I got so darked out I was crying.
Like the book Sex and the City, because it's reprinted obviously with Carrie Bradshaw on the cover, like with her computer, like looking flirty, sexy, and the book is all.
Wait, what is the? Because Lara said the same thing. What do you mean it's dark? I don't understand.
Because so Sex and the City, the TV show, is based off of Candace Bushnell's column in The Observer in the mid-90s, and it was about just like being single, alone, desperate, suicidal, and wasted, basically, in New York.
Serious?
And just like, it's all about people fucking people for houses in the Hamptons. And
oh my God.
Like being 40 and you can't get married, and it's really darkly funny.
Yeah.
Like the show obviously like was like romantic and lighter and funny, but the book is like is really dark.
There's one part where like Carrie is like she's like really upset about Big, and she's like in a depressive spiral. Like I think she's like screaming in an alley or something.
It was like only eats hot dogs off the street.
What?
Like
It's like, it's not.
Oh my God.
It's not the fun, flirty, fabulous
Bleak in the
thing
city.
we all thought that it was.
Okay.
It's also a lot more alcoholic. Like in the show, they like love a Manhattan or whatever it is, Cosmo.
But in the book, they're actual like truly.
There's addiction.
In the book, it's like, yeah. It's very Kat Marnell, actually.
It is.
It's sort of Kat Marnell, yeah.
It is.
Wow. Okay.
But
I might read it.
it's good. Like, it's definitely.
Can you find her old columns?
They're all online,
They're
yeah.
online?
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
They're archived in
Twist.
The Observer.
Well, yours is definitely not depressing. Yours
No.
is empowering, I think.
Thank you, hashtag empowering. That's
Yeah, it is.
It's so funny.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
It makes me, because you sent me your book proposal when you first went out with it, and I was reading the squatting pages and was truly dead. I was upstairs in my bedroom just like crying. Like you sleeping on a stairwell.
I know. It was the platform of a stairwell. So it was
Right.
like, so I lived,
Like,
Right.
go down some stairs, and then
Yeah.
there's like a little area, and that was
Yes.
and then you
Yeah.
go down more stairs.
right. So I lived in a squat in London for years. I mean, this was the first one I lived in, but it was
How many years did you live there?
So you've always had a platform.
Yes. It was my first platform. It was my
was your
first
first
true
platform?
Yeah.
6 years is a long time.
Yeah, I didn't live on the stairwell for 6 years. That was like 6 months.
Yeah.
But it was pretty
Wait, do we really introduce her properly? Like with like
No, say her whole
I feel
name.
like we don't.
You said Karley anyway. You didn't even say.
What?
You are bad, actually.
I know.
you guys need
Well,
to get better at context.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Context. Okay.
So let's back up.
Okay, back it up. Okay, you go first. You back. Okay.
Okay.
You intro.
Me?
Yeah, you intro.
Okay, our guest today is an amazing writer. She is a real life Carrie Bradshaw.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Karley Sciortino.
Thank you.
And then
I'm so happy to be here.
Karley has an amazing show on Viceland called Slut Ever.
Yes.
She has a book called Slut Ever, which came out. I love that they happened at the same time. Was that like planned? Was that
No,
like,
it was an
methodical?
accident. It was really great for press.
It's a cosmic, it's a cosmic accident.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I
love
love that. So it's amazing though. Your show is incredible. I watch it every week, and then I like text you insane follow-up questions.
And you have
I
a
like
column
that.
for Vogue called Breathless.
Yeah.
So it's all happening.
And you're in LA for a few months.
Yeah.
You're here doing a show.
Yeah.
I mean, can you? No. Is that
I think I
even-
can talk. Well, I'm writing on a show. They
You're
haven't
on a show.
announced the show,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm writing on a show. So
Got
it's
it.
like just
We'll
like
keep it-
everyone.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
We'll keep it vague.
We're all writing on a show.
Right. Well, not everyone. Some are
True.
trying
I'd
to.
say
A
I'm
lot of
not.
my Uber drivers are not writing on shows, but want to be writing on shows.
Yeah.
That's the reason I want to get a car, is so that you don't have to hear like the Uber pitch.
No more
Oh, forget it. They're like,
conversation.
you're a writer? I have stories.
Oh
They're like, I have stuff. I just can't write it. I can't write them down, but I have stories. And you're like, great. That's not helpful.
You know what I'm really into are female Uber drivers, because
Yeah.
I feel like they don't feel such a need to like talk. Like they can
No, they
they
don't
can
wanna-
let you just be silent. Because sometimes you get in an Uber or Lyft and you just want to be silent and not speak, and it's nothing personal. But like I feel like I've found that men are more prickly or give off a weirder energy about that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
because men love to talk, and especially, and I feel like they don't pick up on any signals.
No, but the other thing is like if you can't drive, which I can't, and neither can Brian. Can you drive?
I can, but my car is broken down.
Basically.
So basically, no. It's like you spend so much of your life having conversations with strangers. So actually, then at the end of the day, like your emotional output is like over. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I had to intentionally not talk to my Uber driver on the way here because I was like, I'm gonna waste all my conversational energy.
Are they creepy to you or no?
No.
Okay. Good. Because what?
I don't need to like fully occupy the conversation talking about Uber, but anyway.
No, because I mean,
No, well, we've had some experience.
Laura's had an injury.
I had I
You've
was
said this before, right?
Did I say this on the
I don't know.
podcast?
Go ahead.
I didn't say it
It
on
was
the
definitely
podcast, but I was kidnapped by a Lyft driver
Yeah.
in 2015.
I think I heard about it on the highway, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And he picked me up at 3 a.m. from
Oh
a friend's
my
house
God.
after I'd been like at a rave and like at an after party. And it was like back when Lyft kept trying to get you to ride shotgun with the drivers,
Right.
which like set them apart. And it's like, no.
Oh yeah, it was all about like community. You're like, get away from me.
So I go to like Uber was surging, so I get a Lyft and I go to get in the back seat and he's like, no, sit in the front. And I was like, this is so annoying, but like, fine, I'll sit in the front seat. Like, I don't want to be a bitch and it's my house is literally 10 minutes away. And I get in the front seat and then just pass out.
Night.
Good night.
It's like rule number one, like don't get in a stranger's car and become unconscious immediately.
Yeah. It was like immediate. Like I put my home address in the thing and was like, and then so I wake up, I like come to what I think is like 5 minutes later, and I'm like, and then I look, and we're like speeding on a deserted highway.
Oh my
and I was
God,
like,
that's so
what?
dark.
I was like, and I look at the clock, and 30 minutes have gone by.
Oh
and
my
I
God.
start looking around, I see a sign that says like Tarzana. So we're basically like on the way to Tarzana, which is the opposite direction of where I live. And I kind of turned to him, and I was like, hey, where are we? Like, I think we're going the wrong way. Like, I put my address in. This is not the place we're supposed to go. And he was like, oh, or you were sleeping. So I was going to just take you back to my house so you could sleep.
Oh,
and I was like,
gentleman.
Oh,
I was like,
fucking
no. I like immediately just like got into like fight or flight mode. And I
Totally.
was like, what are my options? Like, I could flip the fuck out. But then that's not going to work because I don't know where I am. I could get out of the car and get a new car, but that's also not going to work because like TBD. And then I was just like, I'm going to be calm and like firmly tell him that he needs to turn around. So I was like, you need to turn the car around, like get back going the other way. And like, we need to go back in the direction of West Hollywood, please. And then I texted my friend and I was like, hey, I think this like Lyft driver was trying to take me somewhere and I like, I'm getting him to turn around, but just like stay in touch. So then I told him, I was like, yeah, I just texted my roommate and she knows that I'll be home in 30 minutes. So if I'm not home in half an hour, like she's going to flip out and to like put the pressure on him. So then he like turns the car around. We're going back and I'm like I'm like, am I just like a drunk bitch that like is projecting this like kidnapping? And so what? And I'm just like, okay. So I'm like texting with my friend Christine and then he puts his arm around me and like pulls me in close and he goes, so I'm just so sad I won't get to hold you tonight. What? And I just like froze. I was so froze. I was like, yeah, I know, like totally. And then was just like, I'm still texting my friend. And then finally he had his arm around me for like 5 minutes and I was just like frozen like in get home mode and like don't make any waves because I was like, if I freak out, he'll probably freak out.
Yeah, because who knows if he has a weapon and like were you thinking that or like
I just was like, I have to keep my cool because otherwise like this situation could escalate and it's already like gotten so inappropriate and out of hand that it's like just stay calm and get home. So I get home and like as he pulls up and I just like immediately get out of the car and he grabs my wrist and he's like, can I even, you're not going to kiss me goodnight? And I was like, no. And then like slammed the door, ran inside and then called Christine. I was like laughing hysterically because I was just like, what the fuck was that? Like lol. And then the next day I was like actually very depressed and sad. And then I was like traumatized.
Not drunk anymore.
Yeah, no, I was traumatized. I was like, oh my fucking God. Like this person just tried to kidnap me and like thank God I woke up. I was in the car for an hour total.
Well, yeah, the troll on cake, icing on the troll cake is that you got charged for your attempted assault.
No, I got charged. So then I emailed
literally,
them.
like, can you imagine?
like, demand a refund?
Yeah, you're like, babe? Yeah.
They're like, rate your ride. And I gave them a 3.
Honey.
What?
It's rate your ride, not rape your ride.
Oh my God, this is the problem with women, honestly.
I know, it is a woman
like,
problem.
I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah, I
sometimes
know.
rape you, you don't let them. You're like, I'm sorry.
I
I'm
never- like,
sorry.
you give them
I
if the
didn't
driver
go home
gets
with him. I'm a bitch. I'm a bitch.
It was if the driver gets a 3, you'll never be paired with him again. And I was like, okay, I guess he maybe made a mistake. And like, and then I called
crazy.
Lyft the next day and was like, hey, explain what happened. And they refunded me, but I should have like threatened to sue them.
Yeah,
or,
you
like,
should have
shoot
like
them.
tweeted about it and like dragged
Well, now it's out in the open.
Yeah.
But like, and now I only take Lyft because Uber's so expensive. So the joke's actually on me at the end of the day. But it was really terrifying and like, it like scarred me. It was an attempted kidnapping.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just think that it is a little bit like white girl entitlement, where it's like I'm just gonna get in the car with a stranger and like pass out, right?
Yeah.
I've done that before too, and it's so there's that meme that keeps going around where it's like when we were in high school, all we were told is like, don't talk to strangers, don't get in a stranger's car. And now like our whole life is like, use the internet to summon strangers so that we can get in their car and like immediately pass out. But it's just like, it's so, when you think about it, like that's pretty dangerous. I'm constantly wasted with strange men.
Yeah. And now I'm on like, I've been on more alert since then. Like it's just, I just am not really in that situation of passing out in people's cars anymore.
Yeah.
Once was enough.
Yeah, exactly. Learned my lesson.
And that's my story. I'm like, good night.
So, Karley, did you experience any sketchy situations living in a squat in London?
What's weird, to bring it back to your book and all the stories you tell, is like, despite you getting into all these situations, it's like nothing truly gets so super dark.
No.
I don't think I've ever had like a real dark. I mean, I don't know if like dark stories is like the story hour that we want, but I can remember one time when I was, again, like wasted out until like 4 a.m. by myself. I lived in a squat, so it was like, I mean, this is how bad it was at certain points when I'd have to like knock on the windows to get in and like wake someone up to come answer the door. And I came back from a club and I had like lost my bag and lost my phone, and I was knocking on the windows. And no one answered. So I was just wandering around this area of South London by myself at like 4 o'clock in the morning, like waiting, just being like, just wasted and high on ecstasy. You know, you're just kind of like, so it wasn't even scary. I was just like, I'm just going to talk to strangers. I'll pass the time. So then I start talking to this like random guy at a bus stop at 4 a.m.
No.
Yeah. And then went back to his house.
No.
Yeah.
Networking.
It was just like this sort of like middle-aged, like bald Turkish guy who had like a roommate.
No.
And then I went back to his house, and then we were like laying in his bed, and I was just like, I live kind of nearby, I can't get into my house. Can I just like sleep here until
he's like, until the morning?
And he's like, yeah. I mean, like, this is just like fully too high 22.
Right.
And
too
then
high 22.
And then he tried to finger me, and I was like, I guess I can deal with that for just like to be able to lay down. And but then eventually I was like, this is disgusting. So I was like, actually, I'm gonna go. And then I tried to go, and then he like didn't want to let me go. Like, I was trying to open the door to get out of the house, and he kind of came behind and like shut the door.
No.
Yeah.
And
then I started screaming, and his roommate came out, and then he just let me leave.
Oh,
love that.
my heart.
It was like, oh, you get yourself in a fucking stupid situation. Like, yeah, it's just like, don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that.
It's so crazy that women have to think about that all the time.
But also, like, how stupid are we? It's like how to get raped 101. Just like meet people in the street and like go back to their house. Like they can't speak English. Fully. Like
I was literally like. Just like in like rave clothes, like a little mini skirt, and I'm like, good night, like just like falling asleep in the front seat of this guy's car. Like obviously he should keep his fucking hands to himself and drive Lyft. That's his goddamn job. But like, I mean, men are idiots. Like they'll do anything. Yeah,
I mean, a lot of what I read about in the book is sort of how these experience or how negative experiences, I guess yours isn't really a sexual experience, but how like making bad decisions and getting yourself into bad sexual situations that you regret, how like those don't really have to be traumatizing if you like frame them as like, oh my God, I've learned something really important. Never do that again. You know what I mean? Like I think that we, especially for women, we think of negative sexual experiences as being like a mark on us forever. But why can't we just look at them as like learning experiences, just like anything? Like if you make a bad professional decision, you don't think of it as scarring you. You think of it as being like, okay, like I'm wiser going forward from this.
That's so true. And I met this healer last night named Tolliver.
Fake name. I want to heal him from that terrible name.
And he looked me up and down and read my chakras to me, and then was like telling me
also
about,
this was like on Hollywood Boulevard.
Like at 2 a.m. in the like, diner next
Lindsay
to
Lohan,
Teddy's
2007
in the Roosevelt Hotel. And Tolliver is just like telling me about my chakras, and then he's like your energy is so good, you're like source to the earth, like things are going to be okay for you, and was like really telling me everything that I ever wanted to hear. But then he was like,
I come up, I give Tolliver $5. I'm like, thank you, Tolliver. She needed to hear that.
And he was like, I will say, like, the energy in like your sacral chakra, there's like a block, and that's like the sexual chakra. And he's like, I hope you don't mind me telling you this. I was like, honey, I think people have told me way worse than that. And like, but it's kind of true. And I've talked about this on the podcast before, and like having gone through like a sexual assault in my teenage years, and like really starting to come to terms and like process that. It is like it's hard to take those bad experiences and not let that define you. And Tolliver said, I just love the name Tolliver.
This is the moment that changed you.
I know, Tolliver. Big and Tolliver.
He was like, your sexuality and your sexual experiences are not tied to your success. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it has no bearing on whether or not you're a successful person, or like, and in our culture, it very much feels like whatever is happening sexually to you is very much indicates like
who you are. It's your
and,
fault.
Like, your
It says something
future.
about who you are.
Yeah.
Right. Does he mean like professionals? I'm now interested in his insight. Does he mean like professional success, or just like all around success as a human being?
Success as a human being.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He said like, it's like your pleasure is very important, and you should nurture that. And whatever your pleasure is, you should like be always like seeking that out or figuring that out. But whatever it is, like, you can't judge it in terms of like, means that I'm a bad person, or if you're like into a certain thing, it means that you're like not worthy or successful.
I love that he told you this.
I know.
I think that's true. And I also think, real talk, so we like write our own sort of personal narratives, and we like create stories about who we are based on the stories that we see around us and like examples, right? So that's why I think that sort of like victim culture and like female sexual victimization is really dangerous, because like, if you have a negative sexual experience like that, or like an assault, and then the only stories you see like in movies or famous people or whatever talking about how like their assault defined them and then they became a victim through it, it's like, then you're gonna not think it's an option to just be like, that was shitty, like moving on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not like you shouldn't like go to therapy and deal with it and like face it head on, but I don't think it has to define you as a person.
Yeah. It limits you if you look at it through that lens. And I feel like
It's
maybe
always a
that's-
tightrope. It's always a tightrope to honor those feelings and work through them, but not let it just become your narrative. It's such a it feels like a tightrope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a balancing act. It's like, you don't want to stay too long at the victim fair, but you also want to own what happened to you and work through it in an honest way.
Yeah, and see what situation, in any sort of like situation where you get fucked over or just like taken advantage of, and also be able to have distance and see like what you brought to that situation to like get yourself in that place. And like, not like in a victim blaming way, but just like what were you going through, and like taking a very honest stock of like where you were at that time in your life, and then being like, oh, how do I like change that?
Right.
Right. And then when we scream victim blaming too loud, then I do think it actually acts as a block of, it prevents people from self-examining, because like often you did make a decision to get yourself in that place. You know what I mean? So like, not like it's your fault, but you should be able to learn from like how to not be there again, like how to not like, I'm not like victim blaming you about your Uber story, but like
that's true.
It's like
should
a bad
not
decision.
Be high, like coming down off ecstasy, half like drunk to the point where I'm passing out, getting in the front seat of a car of a Lyft driver that I've never met. That's like kind of creepy.
Yeah,
exactly. I think you should like not have to worry about getting raped.
No, you shouldn't. But like,
you should be aware.
You should be aware, and that's like that's a real threat. That's like, hopefully it stops, and but for now it's kind of not going anywhere. Like, when you're a woman, you just have to like keep that in mind and put yourself, and I don't want to get into like, I feel like I'm walking into like very scary waters with this, but I'm actually not, because I know what I'm talking about. But I'm like, fuck the haters. Anyways, but like I have a lot of responsibility in that too. Obviously, he should never have done that, but I should be a little more. It's like, you're 31 years old when this is happening. Like, you should be taking care of yourself a little bit better than that.
Yeah.
For me personally, in my situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think that like shitty, I mean, you're saying like, don't let shitty sex define you. Definitely, and it's not representative of your success, but if you go through a streak of just having like bad sex and no one wants to have sex with you, it does make you feel like garbage, right?
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
It's hard. Any sort of any sort of like bad sexual experience, even if from assault to just like not getting laid for a long time or like not dating, can be like, oh, this is who I am now.
I know. I think I didn't realize. I mean, it's funny because I was interviewing Stoya kind of recently, the porn star, and we were talking about like our sexual approach from our like early 20s to now, like both being sort of like early 30s. And we both she was talking about how she used to like come to New York from like Philadelphia or wherever she's from, and she would just go to bars and like fuck people in the bathroom. And I was like, was the sex good? And she was like, I don't think that was the point. And I thought that was like a really funny way to look at it, because I feel like the same way. Like I wasn't having like quote good sex when I was in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, even mid 20s. But I think it was just kind of like a all you can eat, where I was just like, what? Like just like hungry. It's like shoving everything in my mouth. And like never would have expected to come, like, probably it was painful probably at times just physically. Do
you remember the first good sex you've had?
Fully. Okay. So I think being as a like 30% lesbian or whatever, it took me having sex with women to
Laura's
be like,
jealous.
I am.
Laura's at 2%, but she wants to be at 40.
No, I'm not at 2%.
She's
I'm
at
30.
Her battery's dying. Her
I'm
lesbian
30 as
battery's
well.
dying. She needs a charger. She needs a charger. She's on reserve battery lesbian life.
We can get into some lesbian talk in a second because I have things to say, but I also identify as 30%.
Oh my God.
I do.
You're so phony baloney.
You don't want me to be gay.
Oh, you don't. You want to be. You're failed lesbian.
You're territorial about gay.
You are territorial. You
are
want to just
failed
be the gay
bisexual.
person in this friendship.
Karley's been in a long-term lesbian relationship.
Well, guess what?
True.
Not to be a competition, but
But if it was a competition,
You win.
I would win.
Yeah. You win the lesbian round. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
You
There's
win the
still
pegging
time.
round.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, that's good. Respect.
Tit for tat.
Sisterhood.
Yeah.
Sisterhood.
Women helping
Women supporting each other.
But no, like fully, I started dating my ex-girlfriend when I was 27, and I was like, not that I hadn't had good sex before then, I totally had, and I had very fun sex, but what it taught me is, oh my God, I can come every time I have sex. Like there's a possibility of an orgasm like every time you fuck someone, and that like my mind was like fully blown.
Yeah.
Like I thought an orgasm was something that you had like once a month, you know what I mean, if you were lucky.
And that's so crazy because as a man you come every time.
The whole goal is like you make the man come.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you come during sex when you were younger?
Not until I was like in my 20s, and I had a college boyfriend that we really like. We took our time having sex. Like we dated for 3 months and just would like make out with our clothes on and like sleep together and like grind. And then once we like DTR'd, then we were having sex and I could come during sex all the time.
Oh, he sounds great.
He was great.
He's quality.
Was it?
And prior to that, this guy that I dated, and I don't want to say his name.
In high school?
No, in college.
In college. Oh, okay.
My like college
Oh,
boyfriend.
okay.
Love of my life. Anyways, let's move on. But prior to that, the sex was like, it was like I would come from like oral or something, and then we'd have sex, but my orgasm had already, it was just like a clitoral stimulation type of orgasm, not like a deep like.
I've heard that from a lot of girls. I know some girls that can't come from sex, period.
Yeah.
Like even like.
Yeah.
Even like head?
I don't think so. Yeah.
It's hard to come when there's something and there's like a dick inside you, but
Is it really psychological, or is it's all psychological, right? Or no?
I think
Or not?
Yes
I think
and no.
a lot of it is. It's
Yeah.
about being able to relax, right?
Yeah.
It's being able to relax and honestly like asking yourself how turned on you are by someone. And like I think what really worked with my ex-boyfriend was that like there was such a long lead up and like a lot of get to know you, and it was like very intimate. So by the time we started having sex, it was like just taking the next step and like really like exploring each other's bodies. And like some people, like the best sex I've had with people is sex like that, where it's like we have a deep connection and we know each other, and it's just like you kind of lose your inhibitions and you're just like fucking.
I will say there is a direct correlation between, this is not mind blowing, but between my girlfriends who have a very hard time coming during sex, they're less interested in having sex, and then I have girlfriends who can come literally with a Marlon Rando, and like they come all the time, and they just like love coming, and they have voracious sexual appetites.
Yeah.
When there's an orgasm at the end of the tunnel, you're incentivized to have sex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True. Yeah. Well, this is like something that I like maybe I shouldn't say out loud, but I'm gonna go there. This because it's a reality. When I was working like as a sex worker, when I started when I was like 27, those were the first times that I was able to come during sex with men.
Wow.
Because
Shut
I think I just like fully didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, so it was like,
ooh, that's fun.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's why I do think
Wow.
it's psychological. So it's like, I do think,
Yeah.
like you said, it's about being turned on by someone, but it's also about just like letting yourself be like, I don't care how long you're down there. Like, I fully don't like you. You're not like, if I don't like you, but just like, you know, I'm not worried.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not worried you're not going to like me. So then I was able to relax.
Right.
Well, it's also like someone is like paying you to be there, so they want you to be there, and
Right,
they want
sure.
and
Well,
they want
should we-
you. You know what I mean? Like,
Should we give context to you being a sex worker?
Right, I was thinking, on a sugar daddy
I feel
website.
like the readers are like, what? like, just like
The readers.
I love like just go.
I know, me too. Me too.
Yeah, well, I talking about my book, but I was
Yeah.
I was on a sugar daddy website, so it's essentially like escorting, where you just pretend to like. There's like
Right.
there's a difference between sort of transactional. This is how much I cost an hour escorting, and a sugar daddy website, which is essentially websites that connect rich, primarily older guys with young women who are looking for a relationship that has a financial component. So it's sort of like escorting, but dressed up a little bit and like repackaged to be sort of more accepted in a modern world.
Yeah.
They're called mutually beneficial arrangements, but essentially they mostly happen like, okay, so I'll sleep with you a few times a month, and like you pay my rent and like give me some money.
I love that. And you talk about that in person, like once you meet up, or do you like set the ground rules ahead of time?
It fluctuates. Like a lot of times you'll say, you know, like my previous sugar daddies gave me like a few $1,000s a month or whatever, or like $800 every time we hang out, or whatever it is. But you have to keep it really vague, otherwise the website will delete your profile.
Oh.
Because it
legal.
exists in this legal
Right.
gray space.
Right.
So often you're negotiating with them over like tea when you meet them the first time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of awkward, actually.
And then you do like the person that you're around. Is it like a girlfriend experience for them, or like how does that work?
Wait, do they like
Do you guys like have like, are you pretending to be like turned on by them and you're like acting interested, or are you really like interested? And
it's a combination. Like sometimes you'd get people who you really like, but you're not attracted to them because they're like fat old guys, but they're like funny and nice and know about the world. I mean, like, what the amazing thing about it is that I think we live in these really specific social worlds, and we don't realize how much of our lives are interactions with people who like think like us, look like us.
It's a curated existence, I would say.
Really?
Without realizing it.
And like I kind of liked being like, I'm out to dinner with a Republican and he's really funny, you know, and like it's just like from the South, whatever, oil person, we have nothing in common, and just like being like, I fully like you as a person. You're really interesting. We have like really different ideologies, and I think it was good as a writer too to like meet people who didn't just have like my same worldview.
Yeah.
Constantly.
It expands your worldview. It does by seeing other people, and I feel like you've always had a curiosity about other people in that way, which is kind of rare. People like sticking to the rivers and lakes that they're used to, like TLC said in Waterfalls. But you like chasing waterfalls.
I do. I kind of like a bunch of random, like being surrounded by randoms, because I think it's.
It's fun.
I was having this conversation the other day. Like, would you date someone who has a really different ideology to you? Like, would you date a Republican if they were nice?
No, I wouldn't.
Doubtful.
But I'm literally, you know me. I'm literally dating me. Like I'm literally dating myself, Jonathan. Yeah. So like this is the wrong house. You know what I mean? Like, but I think that like I think it's interesting. Would you? No.
I want to say no, but who knows?
Not long term, but maybe for fun. Like maybe for a few.
I had a realization that I was like, I think I am just looking for like the male version of myself.
Yeah.
Like.
He's gay.
I was thinking, I was like,
You mean a gay
last
man?
night I'm like getting ready to go out and like smoking my vape and like having stone thoughts. And I was like, God, I think I am just looking for like me. And then I was like, but if I'm like if I'm an impossible person, then whoever I meet is also going to be impossible. So
You're not impossible.
No, I know, but I've been impossible in the past. And I'm like, if I have to like, I'm on a journey to make myself better so I can meet myself and then fucking fall in love with myself.
Yeah.
What's
In
the
a way.
journey involve?
Yeah, what does that
Talking
involve?
to like street strangers.
I think
like
you just
getting your
need.
chakra
I
read?
think you're never gonna be like fully ready. I think you just need to like do it.
No, I am doing it.
I know you are.
Ryan, don't.
Oh, here she goes again. Oh, God, never mind. Back it up. Beep, beep, beep.
Back it up.
Back it up.
Before
back
I
it up.
flip a table.
She goes full on Samara from The Ring. If you mention like dating, like literally she starts
I
like
can't handle
all
it.
her
I'm,
teeth
like,
just like
actually
fall out.
filled
All
with
her
rage.
eyes start dripping goo. Like it's literally she spins around like Exorcist style. It's fucking crazy. It's like The Conjuring. I've conjured something. Like it's Annabelle over here.
I'd say I'm trying to channel more of like Karley's spirit.
Yeah.
Which is why the book like really deeply spoke to me.
Oh wait, I want to hear what your reaction. I want to hear the review, like what it made you do.
Well, I'm dating now.
Yeah.
It definitely pushed me into like a situation where it made me want to like be actively dating more. And yeah.
And,
That's good.
You know, I
Yeah.
just had sex with prostitutes.
Your text was like,
What was it? I was drunk when I texted you. I was at the.
you were
is
like,
it.
I was
I
at the
read your,
resort. No, I was at the resort, Rancho Valencia.
Okay.
you were like, I read your book. I feel like I'm fully living my life. Like I read your book and then I fucked my favorite prostitute or something.
Yeah.
Fucked my favorite porn star.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I told Jonathan I read your book when we went to Rancho Valencia. I read it in a day, and we were at dinner that night, and I was like getting lit, and I was like, I want to open up the Reliance shop. I'm serious. I read Karley's book. I'm fucking ready. And he was just like, oh my god. Okay. So then I booked an appointment with my fave sex worker who had tried to fuck me before actually, and during the massage, and I was like, no. And then actually this time I still was kind of like, no, because he didn't wear a condom, and I thought that was. I don't know.
bizarre.
No, I know, but it was not negative. It was like, he was like, oh, I'm on prep. I assumed you were on prep. And I was like, I'm not on prep.
No.
And then it was awkward because like, obviously it's like, well, if he's on prep, then he can still fuck me.
Well, but I mean, prep is only like
it's a level of
94%
trust.
effective.
And you
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
even know him, so you
Yeah, I don't
can't
know him, so I just
yeah.
didn't want to do that. So I didn't do it. But then I went to New York, and you know, well, I mean, I feel embarrassed because both my experiences were like aborted fuck sessions because I didn't want to fuck him without a condom, and then the other one wore a condom, but then I embarrassingly came too early.
Well,
Like, I
you're
came-
on your journey.
Yeah,
How
but I
quick
was
is
just
too
that
early?
they're-
Oh, honey, it was halfway in, and I just came. Like,
Shut up.
What?
Really?
Wait,
You
what are you
just, like I love the idea that like the idea of an orgasm just like happening and you don't know it's gonna
No,
happen.
no, it was crazy. I literally was like, "What is this?" I
like
thought it was
such
like,
a
"Please don't
man
do this."
thing.
It's such
no,
a
but
man
you
thing.
understand, like, I had lusted after this man for years. I had been masturbating to him for years. So, like, for
Right.
me to even be having his penis enter my asshole, my very loose asshole, if the readers know,
It just glided right in.
my flop house of a
It's like a
asshole.
black hole. It like sucks things
my
into it.
my flop house asshole, my Raging Waters asshole. You know, it was so crazy to me. I thought like it was just surreal. And then I literally was just on my stomach and I just came like 15 years old style.
Wow.
And then he was like, "Can I still fuck you?" And I was like, "No," because he was so big, and it was like I needed that light at the end of the tunnel to like make myself go through, because he was halfway through and I felt like Samantha when she like tries to fuck that guy with a huge dick.
Yes.
And she like needs a joint. I needed like black tar heroin on speed dial. I literally was like, can I literally just like go in heroin days? I'm like literally like, it was crazy. But so I didn't have sex with him. But now we follow each other on Instagram.
But you
Love
probably success. You could probably do it again at a different time.
Totally.
Yeah, you could
and
go back.
Jonathan is a big fan of his work too, so I think the plan is to do a threesome when I go back.
Really?
Yeah.
So are you okay? So what are your? I don't know if you're comfortable talking about this,
No.
but like, what are your rules? Like, couldn't you have sex with the same person twice by yourself?
No, I mean the rules are ever evolving. Like Jonathan wants me to stay in the sex worker lane because it's comfortable and he knows that there's no risk of falling in love. I'm like, haven't you seen Pretty Woman?
Yeah, exactly.
You fool. But basically, like sex workers, I like going to them, but to me, it gets kind of old. I mean, it's a kind of like, I mean, I don't go to them a lot, and the ones I've gone to have been largely positive experiences. But I mean, there's only been like whatever. So I'm like
40 or 50.
Yeah, 40 or 50. But to me, it's sort of like there's what you're missing is you're missing like an organic kind of connection and just like organic fun and organic lulls. And so that's sort of, I feel like I'm kind of getting over the whole going to a sex worker.
Right. What you really miss is tension, which makes sex so much more fun.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. That is totally the fucking missing ingredient here.
Yeah.
You're right, because yeah.
Like it's an experience. What? Were you guys having a secret moment?
No, I
we're
just
talking
am
about
like
what we talked about off the podcast.
Oh, right.
Off the podcast. We should, oh my God, as part of our Patreon, we should have like deleted scenes of like me, like the things I couldn't say on the podcast.
Our Patreon episodes are called TMI, which is just the information that got edited out.
There are a lot of things I can't say on the podcast now.
Ryan's a real censored person.
I am
these days.
The shackles of Hollywood have chained me down. Put a nuzzle on me. But
you can talk about fucking prostitutes, but not the exact.
Yeah. I can't talk about like what I'm working on. I can talk about my like Raging Waters asshole water slide.
He like, can't talk about his current projects.
I can't talk about like a meeting. You know.
But taking it back to your book and what it kind of made me through. Right now, it's just like mostly a mental revolution. Although I have like delved back into like fucking someone that I like previously have fucked in the past, but it's not like super relevant.
Yeah, but I feel like that's over.
It's over
because I feel like the magic that like the magic which was really the tragic that bonded together
was the tension. Yeah. But I kind of had this realization where it's like women are very much programmed, and I think I was, especially like growing up in like a religious household and in the Midwest, is like to look at sex and like relationships were always very linked together. Like I grew up in a Southern Baptist church, so I got like a promise ring, like was not gonna have sex before marriage.
Who?
Yeah.
What? Who gave you a promise ring?
The church. You were just like, yeah, me too. And then like
broken promises.
And then
I got one too.
The whole thing is like it teaches you that like sex is meant to be in like a marriage. I wish.
I would have been like, yoink.
Like I promise to make you come. But like growing up and associating like sex with marriage, I think it put me in a headspace where it's like, if I want to fuck someone, then I must have some sort of like yearning to be in a relationship with them or be like have something more than just a sexual experience. And right now I'm trying to parse out like there are certain people in this world that I may just want to have sex with no anything else, just like a sexual relationship. And that's fine. And that doesn't mean that I need to try and seek out something else with them. It can just be what it is versus like some people I would want to be in a relationship with and fuck. And that's different. But that's something that I've just haven't, I'm trying to extrapolate those two things.
Yeah, and I think that even if you sort of grow past the idea that like sex has to be linked to marriage, there's sort of like a hangover to that morality where you just like you at least feel like, well, I should at least like them, you know, enough to maybe have it be like a thing.
Or sex has to mean something. And I think that's the hangover of it, is that it's like, okay, well, what did this sex mean? And as women, you're like conditioned to think that like, okay, sex is so meaningful. Whereas men, it's like, sex is just like you come and that's it. You know?
Yeah, and I think
it's less meaningful.
I think it can mean, I think what I've worked out throughout the course of my life is that sex means a lot of different things to me. So it doesn't just mean like forming a connection with someone.
Yeah.
But like it has been really useful for me in terms of like truly my confidence. Like even just the idea of having someone pay attention to you and touch you and try and give you pleasure and then just like leaving and never talking to them again. Like something about that was always confidence boosting for me. And also I think was like part of my like sense of adventure. Like some people like to like jump out of a plane or whatever. Like I would never do that. But like I do like to have sex with people I did like to have sex with people that I met like at a bar.
Yeah.
Which is
totally.
Probably more risky in a lot of ways.
It's emotional skydiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that it's like almost like recreational fun or sort of deep romantic love or connection or just like an excuse to, it's like a sort of shortcut to intimacy for me. I think sometimes like the conversations you get to have with someone after like they lick your butt are really intense.
Yeah.
We've already been here, so let's just let it all hang out.
I know. Yeah. I like an the like aftermath conversations a lot, or just like hanging out. Yeah.
Well, because I feel like once you come, you can like let go. You know what I mean? Because I feel like now that you've come, you're like, okay, great. Let's just like relax.
And I don't understand people that are like weird after sex. Like a morning after weirdness is always like bizarre.
It depends on how you feel, because I've hooked up with people and then after I come, I'm like, oh, I did not want to do that. Or like, ugh. And then I want to get the fuck out of there.
That's the cliche, like for men, where it's like a trap door. But like, why does that happen?
I don't know, because I think honestly, when we're horny, it's so insane. Like we are just like, we need to come now, and it's like we like we're like laser.
It's a brain thing.
It's literally like laser focus. We're like, let's go and hunt for the kill, and then like we just like we'll go home with like Danny DeVito, and then like literally it's like. And then literally we like come to and we're like, oh God, what did I just do? It's like your horny goggles are on. It's not like, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I've read a lot of like dating advice books and stuff. And like, I really love this specific brand, which I don't know if I necessarily subscribe to this as like my own dating like MO, but I think that there's a lot about like, it's interesting, but it's like, the thing that you can just like control men by withholding sex, like it will fuck with them. And it's true. Like you can manipulate a man by just being like, I'm not going to fuck you, and like teasing. And
I can't imagine that happening with gay guys. Like if I was dating a guy and he's like,
no, I think with gay guys it would not.
What? I'd be like, bye. I'd be like, see you later. Free.
You'd be like in someone else within 20 minutes.
Yeah. You're like, next.
I'd be like, take a number, honey. The line for the deli is over there.
With straight men and women, it's like very much like you can really like you can
bend them to your will.
Yeah. Using sex as a tool to get what you want.
Yeah, both in dating, like withholding sex for the first time and keeping them like the first time you have sex, or to keep them interested, but also in a relationship. But I like, right, so you don't have sex with your boyfriend to sort of like get the power back.
To be like, fuck you.
But I've had a
Shop is
boyfriend
closed.
do that to me. My ex-boyfriend in my mid-20s was like not that interested in sex, and he would not fuck me. And as a
what?
Because he would just be like he was trying to sort of convince me that my need to fuck was about a need for validation rather than being horny. He's like, do you even want to fuck, or do you just like need attention from me?
Ew,
and it really
rude.
did create this power dynamic that was really toxic.
But that's rude, and I think he's gaslighting you and making you feel crazy.
Yeah, he was crazy.
Well, he's that to me. That seems like he's threatened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was a really bad relationship.
Maybe he feels, or maybe he feels like defective for not wanting to fuck, and then his way of dealing with that is to make you feel bad because he doesn't want to deal with it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
and we had a really bad sex when I had fake orgasms all the time, and then I actually like I vowed after that I was like, I'm never gonna fake an orgasm ever again.
And you don't ever?
I definitely have since then, but very rare. Like,
I think that's a promise that you break immediately. You're like, never again, and you're like, oh, this is actually just uncomfortable to not, right?
You've never done it, right? You can't. Can guys?
No.
Can guys even? Something has to come out.
My gay friend was in the closet until he was like 24, 25, and he said that he used to with women, but so he would insist on wearing a condom, and he would just fuck them as long as he could until he lost his boner, and then he would fake an orgasm.
That's smart.
That's
smart.
Really smart. That is playful.
That is cute. That's sweet.
Playful. That's what every girl dreams of. Let's be honest.
I don't know if I've ever faked an orgasm.
Wow.
What?
Actually,
I don't think I have.
I know, honey. Live for the applause.
I'm not like gonna give you that validation if you're not making it work.
Wait,
like,
so you really, you literally would not? What would you do?
I don't have the bandwidth for that. I'm like, I'm
obsessed.
Like, get off. Or I'm just like, I need a break. And then just like, I'll just take a break and then I will just go to sleep or just do something else. And then sometimes guys will be like, oh, did you come? And I'm like, well, no.
Yeah, they don't. I love when they like.
I love
they,
when
like you fuck for like for 30 seconds and they're like, "Did you come?" And I'm like, "It's what?"
I'm like, if you have to ask, the answer's fucking no. Yeah. Because if I came, you would know it.
You'd be like, I'd be drooling and having a seizure. Like that's why.
Yeah. Or I'd be like screaming, like saying, "I'm coming." That's a good indicator.
Yeah.
Or like things would happen, I'd squirt. Like things happen.
You make an ugly face. Like something happens.
Yeah. Like I do not understand guys asking, did you come after sex? Like someone needs to tell them that's like you can't do that.
Sometimes I can't
it's like
come.
It's covert.
Really? Just sometimes you can't come.
Is it because of medication?
No, I'm not on anything. Shockingly.
Round of applause.
High on life.
I know. Woo! too.
High on drama.
Yeah, drama's the only meds I fill. I like keep getting refills.
Yeah, like I started when I started antidepressants. It would take me a lot longer to come.
Oh, fully.
Yeah, but
Sometimes I just get in the headspace. It's just like, I don't know.
But yeah, and that's not to say like that all sex when I don't come is bad, because some of it's still like nice to fuck, but like I don't like being asked if I came with and if you're asking, you're expecting me to say yes, I think is the feeling I get from
yesterday.
that
I had sex and I
Accusatory.
didn't come, and it was still really fun.
Yeah.
Then today I came, and that was really fun too.
You're in a relationship and you can be like, oh, I'm just not going to get there today, hon.
Yeah. And he like knows.
Or you can like finish yourself off,
but
or
it's
just
like,
do all sorts of things.
But it's like he can still like, it depends on what kind of sex we're having. Like yesterday we like fucked. We had like penetrative sex or whatever. So, but I still didn't come. But it was fine because there was a dick in my ass, and that was making me happy.
Yeah.
Like because there's a prostate, so it was like fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
like
gonna be so goal-oriented.
Like if he's fucking me, TBH, I don't really actually need to come all that much because it feels really good to get fucked. So it's like that's its own journey. That's fun to go on.
Yeah.
And
that's nice, but that's I feel like more relationship style sex.
Oh, totally. Because you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's also getting in a mindset for me, and maybe you can speak to this, Karley, but it's like asking for what you want in like a hookup is really important. Yeah. I'm realizing.
Yeah. But it's hard to do because I hate to just be like women, but like women are conditioned to just be like, okay, like be pleasing. You know what I mean? Like not, and like to sort of like big up the male ego, because I think like the male ego, especially in a sexual situation, is very fragile because like on the other end of the spectrum, like men feel like they have to be competent.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want to like help them to keep that facade, like sort of myth going.
Ugh.
Do you know what I mean?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
But the dynamic, both parties are complicit in that dynamic.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, it's totally true. And like in an episode of the Vice show, we went to like a men's support group where
Oh my god, yes. That was wild.
it was so eye-opening.
That was insane.
It was
that
a
was
men's
the first episode, right?
What did
Yeah.
they say?
It was a men's sexuality support group where they're talking about the female orgasm, and it was like every like stereotype that you thought of the way men thought about the female orgasm is true. They were like, it's a mystery. No one knows how it works.
No.
It's like it's like God or something is what they were saying.
Fuck.
But then a lot of them, which I think was the problem, is that they considered the female orgasm as something that like a gift that they had to give the woman. So like if a guy's having sex with you, like an orgasm is something that he gives you, and if he can't give it to you, then it's a failure. And I was kind of like, well, no, it's more, an orgasm is more like the product of a sexual experience that feels close and where you're both like working toward it, and that you're helping her, and that like she can sometimes do it herself, and like you being there and helping and like turning her on, like that's not a failure.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I think that they felt insecure. Like one of them was saying that his girlfriend had to touch herself in order to come during sex, and I was like, bro, like I will never. Like that's many women.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that's not a failure on your part. So I think that there is like a huge sort of ego component there.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah.
But also, aren't some guys just like lazy too?
True. Yeah. It's
Like-
better to have them be like that than
I
to
know.
not care.
No, I agree. I agree. Yeah, for sure. And
But some guys, it's like, it is a tough situation to have to tell someone that you're fucking like, oh, this is like what my experience is like in this, and this is what I need you to do differently, or like if you can try this or try that. And like, I don't know, it's a journey. Like sometimes it won't just happen right away, and that can feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to get the memo of like how they need to touch you, or how you like to be touched, or how you like to be fucked.
Have you ever been with someone who you think is better at sex than you are?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. I feel like, well, the first time I was having sex with my boyfriend now, I felt like that a little bit because he doesn't drink and is like really present.
God, yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was actually like, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, you know what I
He's
mean?
present,
And is like involved and like
Don't want to
like,
miss a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like giving feedback, like aware of feedback. And like,
Yeah.
you know, it makes you realize that even just like having 2 drinks, you
Yeah.
can be like a little bit lazier, and like, or after you come, you like want to go to sleep, or like,
Right.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I think that, because I don't think that there is like a real like skills.
You just start dosing him at night.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, here's your sleepy time tea.
You're like, doot, GHB.
Exactly.
You're like, gonna feel a little cracky. It's the love.
Yeah, I almost like wish, like I would love to see him like be lazy and uninhibited so that you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that, I don't think that there's like, some people are good at sex, some people are bad at sex, but I think that like, it's almost like how much do you care, how much effort are you putting in? And like, that was more the difference where I was like, oh, maybe he's putting in a little bit more effort than me. I feel mismatched.
It's like, how badly do you want to make the other person come?
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you don't want to you don't care that much.
You don't care that much. And like, also like, how much are you like responding to their feedback where it's like, do you just have your moves and you just do them even if it looks like they're in pain? Or are you actually like being like responding? Are you
the
letting
worst
your
to
ego
me
go?
is like when someone's like robotic. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, this is like, it's just like a routine. You know what I mean? They're just like, they plug into this routine that they always do, and it feels so like soulless in a weird way.
Exactly. Well, do you feel like you have sex with people who are better at sex than you?
Well, considering I've been having sex with sex workers.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Jonathan had a lot more sex than I did. That's an understatement. I mean, he, first of all, he just had sex, period. So by virtue of that, he had more sex than I did.
Right.
But he also, I think, is just really good at sex. And I think, like, I kind of figured that because he, like, had this history of, like, dating, like, kind of famous-y men. Like, kind of, like, like, in his 20s. And I was like, in order for him to do that, I'm sure he's really good at it in bed, obviously. Because he's, like, these rich, like, old men can get whoever they want. You know what I mean? So what?
You're putting Jonathan on blast right now.
Oh, he's written articles about it.
Telling his stories.
Yeah, right? He's like, honey.
Was he slutty kind of?
Yeah, he was. But he was also like, I don't know, it was weird. So I kind of just knew, like looking at his list of exes, I was like, okay. But yeah, so he's really good at sex. He's just good at having it. He's just like, and it's not robotic at all. It's just, he's just good.
He has like a sexual energy to him.
He does.
Yeah, I'm thinking of him, and
he dropped his glasses in the bathroom today and went, ooh!
He just is like...
Yeah, he makes a lot of sounds.
Yeah, he's engaged. He's engaged with like the world around him and surprised at things, Yeah,
I don't know how that translates to being good in bed.
No, I just see it like,
okay,
it's a movement.
Well, does he make that sound in bed?
No, God, no.
Okay.
Can you imagine? Like, come on his face. It's like, oh, we gotta No. But he is really, really good at sex, and I think he's better at sex than I am. But I don't think that's really a problem. I don't think about it all that much. But I do. But it's kind of like I'm clocking it. You know what I mean? I'm just clocking it in the corner of my eye. I'm like, you're good at this. You're really good at fucking. That's just what he's good at.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, how I define good at fucking is just like someone who makes you feel comfortable. So it's like a lack of sexual anxiety. It's like, that's what's really good, where you just feel like you can relax. Like if someone has like a creepy, anxious sexual energy, like even if they are like technically good at giving head or something.
Yeah.
I think that each puts you on edge and then you can't have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
For me, it's like, I feel very aware of when like a man is just wanting to like have sex or like fuck versus when it's like wanting to make me feel good about it, or like having like an engaged, like we're both like on this sexual journey together kind of vibe.
Yeah, where it's like you're melding.
Yeah. And you're just like, oh, this is funny and flirty, and we're gonna like be kind of experimental and do this or do that, and it's like a long thing rather than just being like, which can be fun, and I'm not like necessarily opposed to that, but it's not. But I just am very conscious of that. It's been more now than ever.
Do you ever get tired of writing about sex?
Yeah, kind of. Well, like, also, I think that increasingly I write less about sex and more about feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because
totally.
I think as you get older and then you care more about relationships and do more like #introspection, go to therapy and realize. I think it's more when I was younger, I was like, and then I had this threesome and then I got this STD, and now it's like, now I'm like, wait, why did I do those things? And you reflect a little bit more
Why
about.
did I have that STD?
Yeah, like why? Why did I go home with that married couple who I hated? You know what I mean? So like, it's more about.
What's the worst sexual experience you've had?
Worst? Oof, I had this pretty. One that I always think of as like an anecdote because it was just so deeply awkward was. I went home with this guy that I met at a club when I was in my like maybe 22.
Okay.
And was in England, so he had a foreskin.
Oh,
They
love.
do that there.
Love.
And so we were
That's easy. That makes it easier.
It does, yeah. I actually love a foreskin.
I would love it too.
Pro.
Yeah.
Like hand jobs are a totally different experience.
Are you fucking kidding
They're
me?
actually
it's
better.
Are
Are you kidding me? It's literally just stare. Yeah, you're like, "Ugh," and then it's like, woo. Yeah, it's like built-in fiction.
I know, because if they don't have
great.
a foreskin, you have to spit in your hand, and then your hand smells like spit, and they're
Yeah.
It's like
You're
I feel like
drooling on. Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah,
And then it gets kind of
I think I
sticky
said
after a while.
I answered
and
the
you're
story,
like,
but
we're still here.
I dated a guy for 4 months in college, and it was like we were in bed one night after hooking up, and I was like, God, I'm like, have you ever been with someone uncircumcised? I wonder what that's like. He goes, Ryan, I'm uncircumcised. And I was like, lol, yeah. I was like, honey, I was clocked out of that relationship. I was like,
Percocet.
I was literally like passed out. I was like, anyways, take over.
Have you ever been with someone uncircumcised?
Yeah, he's like, honey, I'm like, oh. And I like, honestly, it's so funny because I don't know if you ever had this experience where it's like, I will literally have been with someone for like 4 or 5 months and I won't remember the sex at all. I literally won't remember. Like, I don't remember having sex with this person at all. I don't remember what it felt like. I don't remember what he looked
were
like.
you wasted?
No. I just don't remember. It was all so just like, I don't remember it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
I had
about?
a moment the other day where I was like about to masturbate, and then I was like, did I go through a period of time? I like remembered someone that I had fucked and then a breakup, and then I was like, God, did I really not have sex for like a year? And then I thought that, and then I was like, no, wait, I had sex with like 4 people. But it was like, they're just not the most memorable like sexual interaction.
But this one was. So you're back to the foreskin.
Foreskin.
Sorry. That's
But I mean, having said that, if I saw the person who I had sex with right now, if I like ran into him, I don't think I would recognize him. But
Yeah.
it was the experience. So we went back to his house, and it was one of those like you get on a night bus and it takes an hour to get home,
Jesus.
and then by the time you're there, you're less
What's a
drunk.
night bus? Just a bus at night?
Oh yeah, it's like
someone found it out.
Is that it?
Clearinghouse winner. Here's $1,000.
in London they have like bus schedules, and then at night the bus schedules are even like less rare. So
Okay.
you know what I mean. So the buses
Yeah.
take forever to come. So you're on
Okay,
a bus
gotcha.
that's stopping at every stop, and
Yeah,
by the time you get there, it's an hour late because you can't afford a cab. You know, because you're poor, you live in a squat, and eat out of the garbage. And then you get back and you're not drunk anymore, but you're like, I'm already at your house, like on the outskirts of who God knows where. So like I have to fuck you because it's awkward.
Right.
So we started having sex, and I was really dry, like surprise, because I like wasn't turned on. And and we weren't using a condom, so like PSA.
Yeah.
But his foreskin like ripped.
No, stop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna vomit.
And
Okay.
he like ejaculated like blood.
No.
Like all over me.
Ew! Stop it. I'm actually getting sick. Like I literally.
And then,
no.
And then he was like,
Ew,
"Did you
ew.
get?" And then he was like screaming, and then in the midst of him screaming, he was like, "Did you get your period?" And I was like,
Rude.
What? Rude. Yeah, I was like, rude.
Fuck you. He's like, his jizz and blood is on your stomach, and he's like, you clearly got your period. You're
Yeah, I
like,
was like,
"Do
you get
know?"
period. I was like, your like dick is like hemorrhaging blood on me.
Was he worried about his penis?
Yeah. So
Did he have a scream or pain orgasm of blood?
he didn't orgasm.
Oh.
It was just like his foreskin tore, and then it was like because your dick is engorged with blood when you have an erection, like it just
was everywhere.
like it just like bled everywhere.
Oh my God, I thought he had an orgasm as well as the bleed, and I was like, that's probably the best experience of his entire
It's like
life.
feels like pure BDSM.
Yeah.
But like then it was so awkward, so I just like fully like went. I just was like, I'm going home like right now. I fully went home, and then I ran into him like about a month or so later. And I saw him across the bar, and his friend that he was with pointed at me, and it was like, that is the girl who broke James's dick. And they like looked at me like I was like the poltergeist.
Oh, wow.
So then it became like my fault.
it's not your
His
fault.
Like
his
vagina
responsibility.
dentata moment.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
so
think your vagina grew teeth like that movie?
Yeah.
Like bit it and caused it to bleed.
So that was a bad one.
also
Wow,
it's like
that's
that's
bad.
not a broken dick. That's called your foreskin ripped. There's a difference.
I know, but like I think that if your foreskin
can break
rips,
your
you
dick,
have to sometimes get it removed.
Cast.
Yeah.
A cast.
You can't just have
Like
a little
TBD, we
stitch
don't know what
action.
happened to him, but like sometimes if you have foreskin problems, they remove it, so you have to be adult circumcised, and you can't use your dick for a while. So that might have fully happened.
If any of the readers have had their foreskins rip, tell us what happened afterwards.
Yeah,
That's sick.
that was bad.
I had my first one night stand in London. This happened in London.
Really?
Yeah, at this place called Joiner's Arms.
Oh, I used to go. I loved that bar.
Yeah,
that closed. It was really
I
sad.
know it closed. It was really sad. We went there every night, And
When were you in London?
I spent a month.
And a semester abroad.
I spent a month in London, England. I did. In London, England.
When? I didn't know this about you.
Yeah, I did. After I graduated college, I went like an Eat, Pray, Love journey. I spent.
Went to London town.
Eat, Pray, Come.
I rented. Yeah, exactly. I rented a
flat?
A flat. Wait. Can I tell you my most embarrassing story about London? This is actually truly traumatic. So I go to London for a month and I rent this flat in Soho because I'm like, I go into Soho.
Expensive.
Yeah, expensive and totally not worth it. And I spent all my time like at Joiner's Arms and like Shoreditch and all that stuff. Anyway, and I found this cafe, and I was like, this cafe is the best cafe ever. I'm gonna miss it so much. I went there every day. I'd go there and write and get like little tea, like whatever. And I was like, oh God, if only I ever see this place again, I want to come to London just so I can go to this.
Stop.
It was a pret-a-manger.
Ryan. They didn't have them in America yet.
No, they did. Because I was in New York, and then I was like walking in the street, and there was a pret-a-manger. I was like, what? I never heard of it before. And I was like,
Pret?
I know.
Hey.
It was,
You're like fully in a McDonald's.
I was like, wait, this is a London, England import.
I love this cafe. They have the best frites.
I was so
That's
stupid.
amazing.
Also, this other time, I was trying to hook up this guy, this gay bar, and his girlfriend, his fag guy was with him, and she was truly insane. Like, she was insane. And so I'd be talking to the guy, like flirting, and then the girl would interject and be like, sometimes I imagine children jumping from buildings. And we were like, what? And then there was like me and the guy were like, and then I was drinking my drink, and then she would just take it from me. And then it'd be like, and I'd be like, that's mine. And it became this weird, like, passive-aggressive game of her taking my drink. I'm like, give it to me. And then she just kept on giving, like, chilling anecdotes about, like, suicide and, like, murder. And me and the guy I was like, I gotta go.
I mean, that's sort of British people, like, sort of summed up, right? Like, they're kind of dark.
They're very dark, and I like the darkness because it's like they find
I think
some
this woman
humor
was, like,
in it. Well, she
unstoppable.
seemed maybe not.
She was a little unstoppable.
Not like a
She was a little
lol.
unstoppable. She was not a loller.
She was a null.
She really killed the mood, and this guy was so cute. And
But I think British guys are hot because they like British people fully do look inbred because they kind of are. It's like a fact. But some of them, the inbred goes really well. It like works well. It's like a giver. It's
when
like
the inbred works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tutorial.
But like
how to make inbreeding
inbreeding work for you,
Yeah.
your family.
how to turn it from an ew to an ooh.
it's like they look. There's like a fucked up look to them. Like their eyes are a little bit too close together. Their noses are too big. They have like teeth that look like they're fighting each other, but like it works. Like I love a British guy.
Yeah.
I was just stunned by how drunk everyone got there.
Oh my God,
And
real.
early.
Fully real.
Early. Like it would be like 9 p.m. and people would be like vomiting on the streets in Soho.
Wow.
And I'd be like,
Yeah.
excuse me?
Well,
I'd be,
that's
like,
kind of why I
confused.
felt at home there because I moved there and I do have a little bit of an alcohol problem. Like maybe I'm getting a little bit better now that I live in
I feel like you do not, because I feel like we'll go out. I'll definitely drink more than you.
I've been trying to get it under control.
You're good. Yeah, you reign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't drive. I was gonna say in LA there's like a driving, but that doesn't even. No, it's just like you get more.
Well, also, your
you either get
boyfriend
more
doesn't
conscious
drink.
of it.
Yeah.
I feel like that probably plays.
It's hard to be blacked out in front of someone who's sober.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No.
Jonathan and I both, I think, are drinking like it's definitely.
You're in sync
it
with each
feels
other.
Yeah. I think it helps or hurts. Or
It's
whatever.
also just not fun. Like I've dated guys that it's like we go out and I'm not drinking that night, but then they get lit and then I'm just like
He
annoyed.
gets so
Yeah.
unattractive.
I'm like, get
Well,
away
also,
from
Jonathan
me.
and I are both not messy drunks, and I think that when you're not a messy drunk, it's actually easier to just get drunk because it's like you don't do anything embarrassing. You know what I mean? But I also
Yeah.
think that's like insidious because you're still like, okay, we like got really drunk last night. Like we shouldn't have done that, but like because we're both not sloppy people, it's sort of like okay. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
but
can
it's like
get like
What?
you don't black out ever.
never.
Oh, I black
Crazy.
the fuck
I
out.
never
black
black
the fuck out.
But blacking out is more common amongst females.
I know. On my birthday, it was like I went out with some friends in New York, and my boyfriend was there, and he had never seen me blacked out, and I blacked out, and like had to be like carried and put into a cab, and then like carried out of a cab, and was like drooling, and then he like fully cried because he told me that he felt abandoned.
No.
No.
But I think it was like I was being horrible. Like you can't just be like, come be my friends. You haven't been dating for that long. I'm
sensitive.
just gonna fully black out. You're gonna have
Yeah.
to carry me. I'm gonna like spit spit on you.
He's sensitive too. He's a central.
Also, it's like, I feel like you're like me in the sense that I'm just like live, laugh, love, tee-hee after something like that. And I don't really take into account like the other person, like how they're experiencing it. Yeah. And so then it's like a wake up call when they're like, this was like, made me feel weird.
But that's what I like about you girls. You just do your own thing. I honestly, that's why I'm attracted. Like,
tunnel vision.
Yeah, I kind of love that. I kind of love girls who just like don't give a fuck. You're gonna just do whatever I want. Woo! I like that personality.
But then you don't remember that other people experience you.
I know, you're right.
You don't remember that other people in the story.
Yeah, and like especially when you're in like a relationship and like love is on the table is when you kind of have to be more aware. Yeah. Because if you're dating someone that like didn't care about you acting like that or whatever, that wouldn't necessarily be great either. Like I don't think you would want a guy that's just like encouraging you and like I don't know.
Yeah, like if I have in the past dated and I'm like on the cusp, right? I don't think I have a problem, but I do think that like I have a complicated relation. I can't say no to things. So if I was dating someone who like loved going out and taking ecstasy, for example, like I would like totally use that enabler. Like I love an enabler. Like I would be out all the time. So I think that I have to be conscious of.
Come to me. Exactly. Come to my window.
Exactly. Oh. Even like someone who smokes cigarettes, like I don't even like smoking cigarettes, but I'll just be like, sure.
Yeah.
Like, fine. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. If there's like a smoker and it's happening, I'm like, I'll have one.
Yeah, it's like a tourism.
I feel like I just enable you to spend $1,000 at dinner. I'm like, hey Karley, let's go to this insanely
seriously, he loves like going to restaurants where it's experimental. Like I feel like you always choose restaurants where like vegetables are carved into a swirl and where something comes out on fire.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Totally. Oh yeah, and then you end up just like blacking out and like taking a lot of money to delete it from your account.
Ryan's a foodie.
I'm a foodie.
He's a big
also
foodie.
known as a foodie.
Yeah, but also known as a foodie. That's so embarrassing.
It is, but it's fine. Own it.
But will you go to like a diner?
No.
You won't.
No, he's a snob now.
I'm a snob and a half.
Oh my God, I love diners.
Like the other night, actually, this worked in my favor. Like we went to Michael's in Santa Monica, which is like this iconic place. But like Nancy Silverton like went there, but like that's how she got her ropes. And we go there. The cocktails are seriously insane. I had a strong look. So there was strawberry infused Aperol. It was in tequila, and it was honestly, babe, next level amazing. So I'm like living, laughing, and loving, and having a delicious dinner with my friends. And then we go to a place that like only has a bar, like well cocktails, and I just like don't drink because I'm just like no.
You like went into survival mode.
Yeah, but I just don't like. Then it saved me because when we went to Whack Bar, I only had one tequila soda because I'm like I don't fuck with that stuff. It's just gross.
You can't just drink like a whiskey on the rocks.
No, it's just not for me. It's like too gross. It's like I'm not just like doing it to get drunk. I want a yum experience.
I love your like folk snob journey. Like that's like I've never heard like I will only drink expensive cocktails with
or
infused
wine.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. Or wine. You know me. I like my wine. But like if you go to Akbar, like honey, it's like bare bones there. It's literally like we got this, and we have a prayer. Like here you go.
Because is Akbar like sort of like what a stereotype gay bar where it's just like people fucking in the bathroom?
It's like no. It's like Metropolitan in Brooklyn.
Right.
It's exactly like Metropolitan.
I love that I'm like, so gay people.
Yeah. What does it look for them? Oh, how do you like being in LA?
I do like it. I feel a little bit like it forces you to be an adult. Like this is gonna sound so stupid.
Like it does.
This is gonna sound so stupid, but I had this weird moment of full like realization at my age the other day where I was at Trader Joe's and I was
How
like,
old are you?
32.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, I guess I need to buy like an industrial size thing of like toilet paper and like kitchen towel. You know what I mean? And then
Have
you
you
like
ever done that before?
And then you like go home and you like put it in a closet and then you're like, now I have kitchen towel.
Had you never done this before?
No, because I lived in New York and you just like roll out of your apartment and get one
piece by
toilet
piece.
roll at
I know,
a time.
but it's so inconvenient. I remember that. I was always running out of things in New York because I literally was like, I just go to the bodega and get like one toilet roll at the time.
Yeah.
It does not
And then
work.
I bought like a ton at once. And then I actually like felt like crying because I felt like something had been lost in my life. Like I felt like my youth was over.
Because you
like
bought
I was
in
like,
bulk.
should I just join like a Sam's Club?
Honey,
like I'm gonna kill myself.
Are you gonna have a wait? I'm gonna take you to Costco where you're gonna have a full nervous breakdown.
You could have a Costco membership, and then you can just get tons of sparkling water. Like that's like the only reason I would really want a Costco membership.
Why does your mind go there?
It just goes to like a place of Pellegrino.
I love sparkling water.
But I don't like. I mean, there's something I like about like a
bulk.
haphazard. You know what I think I like? I think I like spontaneity and huge rolls of toilet paper. Like is the opposite of spontaneity.
Yeah, there's no room in your memoir for that.
It's always depressing to get them. Too,
Nothing good happened from buying in bulk. Your life didn't happen. What's
like
life
carrying?
doesn't happen when you buy in bulk.
Carrying like a 24 pack of toilet paper out of a store there's something
It's humiliating.
you're just like, okay,
It's so
this is what
basic.
we're
Yeah,
doing.
and then like
you're like, I'm going to use all of this.
putting it into an Uber as well. Like
Yeah.
an Uber driver to help you.
Running errands in an Uber is the worst.
I know.
So it's like, can you just wait, pick up me, can you do this? It's so bad.
I know. It just makes so living here does make me feel adult in a lot of ways, where everything feels planned.
Yes.
But I guess that's what growing up is about. I don't even know. I drink
trust that
less.
you'll always find something to feel spontaneous.
I think I'm really scared of feeling rooted in anything, which is like why I've never had a full 9-to-5 job ever. I've never I can't imagine myself buying a house. Like I've always like moved around. Like there's like something to me about anchoring. I've even like in relationships, like I've like very rarely been in monogamous relationships. Like anchoring to me feels scary.
Yeah.
Because like if there's a boundary, if there's like a restriction, I'm immediately just like teenage angst rebellion.
You want to break out.
I want to explode it.
I think you just have a deep fear of being basic.
True, or regressing back into basicness because I come from basic roots.
We all do. Well, I don't know if I was ever basic to you.
You can't be disabled and gay and basic.
I don't think a gay disabled guy can be. If they are, tell me. I'll meet them and I'll revoke their card. I'll be like, you bring shame. You bring shame to the community.
You're not basic.
No.
You've been the same way
I've been the
literally
same.
forever.
If you see videos of me as a child, it's just me.
It's the same person.
It's like literally the same. I'm like, lol, 5
He's
years
a
old.
loller and then just like deeply emo.
Yeah.
Well, I think
But not like so deep that it gets like actually scary town. It's just like having his deep emotions and like feeling them out.
Well, I think do you think that certain qualities prevent you from ever being like my friend recently was really scared that she was basic, and then she came and she was like freaked out about it. She was like, should I get a hobby? And then she realized that she was like, well, actually I'm from one of the Muslim travel ban countries, so like I feel like I actually can't be basic.
No.
Yeah. It's true.
Officially not
It's true.
basic.
Officially
Yeah.
Do you know what
not
I mean? I
basic.
feel like there's like there's certain qualities you have where it's like can't be basic, but I actually think gay people can be basic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't used to be able to be.
Yeah, gay-sick.
Gay-sick?
Gay-sick.
They're like, oh, gay basics. Hello.
They're around.
Honey, they're I think more the norm than not. I think and they're in West Hollywood, a lot of them.
Yeah.
I don't know, but people are
West Hollywood, it flourishes with a basic energy.
It's a basic feeding ground. What?
Flourishes with a basic energy is a great slogan. I just love it.
Wait,
The
so,
West Hollywood
review.
slogan. Okay, so I'm glad
put
the
it-
food story is over.
To put it in context, though, this podcast, Karley, I think you're a good guest for Babe because I think you're really good at turning babes into babes.
Yeah.
I think your brain just goes through a brain filter, like a babe filter, where like a babe experience will happen, and it's immediately just like babe.
I don't understand anything that you just
Okay,
said.
so the way that this podcast works, and we'll explain this to you 2 hours into
I
the
love
interview, because
Late in the game.
we're very organized like that. Our producer's like, kill me. She's like, I want to go home. It's like dark. It's like the next day. Like we're like feeding her.
I had a moment. I was like, this podcast could be like 3 or 4 hours, and I love that for
Sammy
us.
like literally commits suicide. Okay, so but basically like the way it works is like when you're not doing well and like you're acting crazy, like it's a babe concerned, and then if you've fully
Yeah.
gone off the rails, you're a babe.
Which
but
is just a babe period. So
Yeah,
it's like
babe
there's
period.
no
I've heard you talk
question
about
anymore.
babe periods in the pocket.
Yeah.
Like, when did you babe?
Yeah.
And then-
I know about that.
And then like when you are
Recover.
when you recover, you're just like really killing it.
and you're a babe.
But you
That's
can
my
also
point.
take any sort of babe question mark and then turn it into a babe exclamation point, which I
Which I think is what you
Yeah.
do.
in
I
my
think-
life?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you
Oh,
have.
that's good.
I mean, literally, you went from like.
Congratulations.
Literally,
Yeah.
you lived in a squat on a platform. You were like lol about it. You like dumpster dived and you were like lol. And
Right.
I just feel like you're good at like taking uncomfortable situations and just like finding like the funny, great things about it.
I think if you can find humor in things, that's the whole point. But also, like, as a writer, being tragic sometimes is like you can like transform tragicness into like
You need
a
it.
babe
Yeah.
through blogging.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like a blob is like a transformation.
That's a babe.
The baby.
It's like a transformation because like. I mean, I just finished just rereading this book, The Sarah book by Scott McClanahan.
yeah.
And it's like the most babe because it's like a book about being an alcoholic and getting a divorce. But like you can write like a funny book about being an alcoholic and getting a divorce. Like you've transformed it.
Yeah,
So, like,
of course.
You've
art-
taken the power back.
Did we actually just figure something out? Art transforms babes into babes.
It
It
sure
does.
does.
Yeah,
What?
you reclaim the babe.
Yeah.
That is actually, we just defined art.
We
Yeah,
did.
I think so too. I think that's something everyone can hear.
CC Art Forum.
I think, yeah. No,
We cracked
gross.
it.
It's like the opposite of victim.
Yeah.
Of course. Like, yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
which we've talked about.
But you do that too. Like
Yeah.
when you write about like when I've read your writing in the past, you talk about negative experiences or experiences of insecurity
Yeah.
around your sexuality or whatever, your disability, and like they're so funny. So like you reclaim those experiences by rebranding them.
Honey, it's always a rebrand.
It's a rebrand.
It's always a rebrand.
It's a bounce back.
Yeah, it's a bounce
It's
back.
a constant
babe
state of
back.
bouncing back.
Yeah, totally. Let's read some
Let's do reader mails, yeah.
we have reader mail.
Glamorous.
Okay, we have really good reader mails.
We do?
Yeah, we have
Okay.
amazing ones.
Okay.
Okay.
Our fans are crazy.
Hashtag fans.
They are. Okay.
Okay, our first one is from Lauren.
Okay.
Hey, Lara and Ryan, new yet avid reader here. Totally binge listened and caught up over the past 2 weeks. Love the show. Anyway, I feel like I have a juicy and what I would categorize as a babe side-eye combo to open up. In response to something about a lesbian joke in the Parsons episode, Lara mentions her license to proceed, having had her own lesbian journey. Given that I was the object of that journey, I feel like this is my invitation.
Oh, this is Lauren.
This is Lauren.
The
to
only
open up a
the only
can.
woman who's ever wanted to have sex with me, I think, by the way, who was a lesbian.
Sex
my
with
God.
you?
Not sex with me, but she was attracted to me.
Did you have lesbian? Do you have a lesbian vibe?
Wait. No.
Let's finish this.
Wait, didn't Lauren always have a crush on me?
You're like, did I misinterpret that?
Wait, I'm chilled to the bone by what you've just said.
Sammy, cut. Jane, cut.
Wait.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. No, you don't even do this to me right now. You know that
Lauren wanted
Lauren.
to have sex.
No,
She
not
was
sex with
clear.
me. That is not true. I'm sorry. I misspoke. What I meant to say is I feel like Lauren always was like complimenting me on my looks. And
Well,
she
yeah,
thought-
you're an attractive guy.
But she did it in a way that no girl ever has, and I thought it was truly
She was grabbing your dick.
No, the only. I love it. The only person that was like, "You're hot," was a lesbian. I'm just sorry. Like, truly, like, made me lol. Okay.
I love that turnaround.
No, okay, I'm sorry.
We'll move on.
Let's move on. Okay.
She goes, that's right, folks. I lesbian journeyed with your hero. So every good lesbian knows that it's a total babe period in our world to get mixed up in a straight girl's experiment journey.
Yeah.
However, is it a babe or is it more of a congratulatory babe in the reverse? Also, this may not have been a babe at all because everyone parted just fine. And we did have one of those feelings air clearing conversations recommended by Lara and Jim in the aforementioned episode.
You guys were together for like 12 days.
Anyhow, she goes, it all started at a pool party.
A lot of ups and downs.
It all started at a pool party I wasn't even going to go to. Then I was going to go, but I would leave early. Then I went and stayed way longer, but wasn't going to get in the pool. Then I was in the pool and
there.
wasn't going to party. Cut to me in a pool floaty, blitzed on who knows what, puffing on cigarette number 200 when Lara popped up through a donut floaty directly face to face with me, all cover of Wild Things style, and goes, "You're really pretty."
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great, that's a good
By
line.
the way, I was at this pool party. And I missed that whole thing because I went home at like 3 a.m. and I wake up like 5 hours later to like a knock to like with Lara, and she gets on my bench and goes, "So I basically have a girlfriend now." And I'm like, what happened in the 5 hours I was gone?
You
I'm literally like,
really became a lesbian in spirit as well.
Yes, and I so I was swimming at this pool party. I was on some ecstasy, and I just kept seeing this like gorgeous girl, and I was like, there are certain women that I'm like really attracted to, and I can't explain it. it. It's called I'm Partially a Lesbian.
But it's also like Lauren's just like
but you also
hot.
Ryan,
Lauren's
you like
hot.
don't want me to be a lesbian, and I'm here to tell you that I'm kind of a lesbian.
She's having to come out over and over and over.
I do have to come out over and
Groundhog Day.
over. Let me be gay. Let me be bi.
Let yourself
me
be
be-
gay.
I am.
Okay.
I'm working on it. Anyways. So I started hitting on Lauren, and I was like, "You're really pretty. Like, tell me more about yourself." And we just like got into a conversation, and this other guy had been like trying to like come on to her all night, and I was like, she was like telling me her life story, and we're like swimming around, and at one point she's like, "Well, I think I'm gonna go," and then I was like, "Don't go, stay." And then we like talked some more. So then I was like, I knew that it was like special, and this guy who was trying to hit on her went to like go grab another beer, and I just like followed him into the pool house, and I was like, "You really like Lauren, don't you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "You think you're gonna go home with her tonight, huh?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Think again." And then, like,
I love all of like this like very generic dialogue that happens between you and people at this party.
I know.
Go.
I know.
Again.
Yeah, it's like
a thriller.
You're reading a line.
Yeah.
Line reading. Line.
so we talked and made out for like an hour in the pool in front of everyone at the pool party, and then like drove her home and like made out, and then she was like, "Let's go on a date tomorrow," and then we dated for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, but by the
Wow.
way, 3 weeks, it was wild.
It was like hardcore. Like
it
the
was-
next day on the date, she like picked me up in a
What?
Uber SUV.
Oh my
And
God.
like took me out on a
She wasn't
date.
fucking
It was the
around.
day after Pride.
She was a power lesbian.
Yeah, it was
Kinda
the day after Pride, and like the streets were like had been cleared for the parade.
And
there
Laura
was
was just like, I'm a lesbian.
and I was like, oh my God, and we were walking down the street like holding hands, and I
Psycho.
was like, ugh, this is what it's like to be a lesbian now. And like, but I also was like nervous because I'd never had sex with a woman, and it was like a lot of new emotions that I had never experienced before.
And it
Like,
was like also like, what are we? You know?
Yeah.
It was like, yeah.
and she was like really wanting to,
Ready to
date
commit.
and ready to commit. And
Like
I was
within
kind of like, I need
48
more.
hours.
Yeah. I was like, I need more time to like figure out
not
what
a
this
joke.
means. So then both of us kind of came to the point where it was like, I don't think I wasn't ready, and she was very ready. And so then we parted ways, and we're like friends and still are very good friends. We're still friends.
Yeah.
Wait, you're
Yeah. She's
talking
also-
about her. She's listening though.
She's
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah. That she wrote the email.
She wrote the email.
But I just suddenly was like, you're getting so real.
So
Okay, whatever.
She knows.
Anyway, back to the story.
We G-chatted about it, and I was like,
Okay,
you can
okay.
write that. She was like, I thought about
you
writing an
G-spotted
email
about
to troll, and I was like, troll away. I'm here for a troll. I want attention from
But do
women.
you ultimately think?
that's really what it is. Laura's like, not
No,
She's like, I wanted to.
I have sexual attraction to women. Isn't that what being a lesbian is? I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, well, I think in
don't,
this case would be
actually, but-
bisexual. I don't think you're fully a lesbian.
No, I'm not fully a lesbian.
No,
I'm
you're definitely
bisexual.
not. Yeah.
Was the sex good?
The sex was good. Yeah, we both like came. I like going down on women. Like I was like really good at it.
Yeah, it's fun. It also is fun to just be like, there is something that about women where like the open PDA really fast, it like activates your like inner like feminine sort of cliche where you're
Yeah.
like, I like it that someone's trying to hold my hand after we've known each other for 10 minutes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's something really affirming about that and sweet, and you can kind of get lost in it. But I did the same thing when I started dating a woman too, where like with the pride moment where like fully like 48 hours into my lesbian journey, I was
Rainbow
like
flag bikini.
like Googling like the gay rights movement explained in 5 minutes on YouTube, where you're like, I actually really care about
I know
gay
what my
rights.
ancestors went through.
Yes,
You're like, what did my lesbian sisters go through? I want to honor them. I want to cherish them.
I was like Stonewall.
yes, I'm with you, my sisters.
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing actually in hindsight.
Yeah, but I was like, so this is what it means to be a lesbian, and like really having deep moments. And then we broke up, and I have not had any sort of lesbian or bisexual activity so much since then. But I'm now coming back around to being like way more open to that and finding that that is something that that's like an element that I do want in my life. So, Ryan, you are so rude. Actually, I'm getting upset now.
Okay, I honor you. I honor you.
You don't honor
I
me.
cherish
You don't cherish this experience.
I do.
You shit on it.
do.
What about my lesbian
Kinda
journey?
makes me lol.
What about my bisexuality is so funny to you?
You don't understand my struggle, because actually bisexual people, I feel like you're very representative, Ryan, of like the gay community, because bisexual people often do not accept members of the bisexual community.
So what's up with that? Let's break down
we
the
are
walls.
homeless. We are not accepted in the straight community. We're not accepted in the gay community.
Justice
we feel
for
very
bis.
lost.
Oh, honey.
Justice for bisexual butterflies.
Trust me.
You do laugh at it and poo-poo it, and I'm here to say I'm bi and I'm proud.
we are pressed.
We're fucking pressed.
I don't laugh at bisexuality. I think you are totally bisexual. You were with a woman for 2 years.
Why does her being with a woman for 2 years make
3
her
years.
more of a bisexual than me? 3 years.
Also,
You quantify
she was
this
with a lesbian
like,
for 3 weeks in lesbian years. That's like
that's true.
Longer than any relationship you
we
ever
were
had.
married.
You're right. Let's move on to the next question.
I'd like you to examine your bias and privilege,
Your gay privilege.
Bias? Don't bring up bi again, please. I'm triggered.
and prejudice against
All come back to bi.
bisexuals.
All right.
Justice for bis.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, bye, bye. Bye, bye. Okay.
All right.
Oh, someone else. We're going to fight.
I'm irritated. I'm agitated.
Someone writes, "Hi, Lara and Ryan. I'm completely obsessed with your podcast. My best friend and I, who is an angelic gay man in love with Ryan, immediately text each other the minute it comes out every week, and we listen at the same time so we can later discuss. That might be a babe in and of itself. You tell me. Anyways, this brings me to the real reason for my email. I recently moved from New York to Australia for a guy I hadn't really spoken to in months.
Mistake!
Let me explain. Back in July, I quit my job as a film publicist to essentially have a mid-20s crisis and backpack with my friend through Southeast Asia. One night in Cambodia, I met who I still consider to be the love of my life at a hippie hostel bar. We had an amazing few days together and made plans to meet up in Bali. Fast forward to a month and we actually did meet up in Bali and had another amazing week in a villa with a group of friends we'd met traveling. I can't explain to you my level of attraction to this human. In our first conversation, I literally thought to myself, I'm going to marry you. And the sex. Fast forward another few months and I saw him again in Melbourne where he'd recently moved. He's originally from Ireland. Things were good, but not amazing, and I sensed some distance from him. I attributed it to his recent move and chose to believe that we were still as into each other as we were on our first 2 meetings. Now, the whole time I was traveling, I kept meeting people from Melbourne who had lived there and said it was amazing. Needing a change from my New York, I flew back home, sold all my stuff, and moved back out there knowing very few people, having no job prospects and a dwindling bank account.
And they weren't even like really together.
No.
Okay.
In the back of my mind, I sort of assumed we would naturally start dating when I returned. Once I got here, I hadn't heard from him, even though I knew he knew I was here. Then one night, I drunkenly texted him a series of nonsensical sentences to which he replied, I have a girlfriend, and nothing else. I then replied, I'll leave you to that then. Best of luck. Those are 2 surfer hand emojis in case they don't show up. We haven't spoken since. So now I'm on the other side of the planet, feeling pretty lonely and scared, still jobless, and no real home to go back to. Is this just one big major life babe? Or am I actually really fucking shit up in a way that will never become a babe? Anyways, peace and love and light and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely...
Oh, she goes, P.S. I said mid-20s crisis, but I'm actually almost 28.
This is a woman, right?
This is a woman.
I mean, I stand by what I first said. Mistake. I mean, it's like, I mean, no. I mean, it's fine. She'll be fine. I mean, she'll just have to. I mean, the bottom will reach eventually, and she'll have to.
But is it ever about? I genuinely believe like moving to a different country, throwing yourself into somewhere where you don't feel comfortable, don't know anyone.
Yeah.
Is that ever going to be bad? No.
No, you love that.
It's like you made yourself more
yeah.
interesting immediately.
That's true.
Like you're interesting. You live in a foreign country,
And you took a risk, which is like very brave.
Yeah.
Maybe you took it for the wrong reasons, but you still took it. And now you're in Melbourne, which seems chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and like Australia's full of hot guys.
We know someone in Melbourne. She can hang out with her.
Who?
I don't know.
You don't know any, who the fuck do you know in Melbourne?
Well, sorry, yeah. No, but I just
We know a lot of people in Melbourne.
We know Jane, Marla's girlfriend, Jane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's really funny.
Love that.
Lesbians.
I think I know a prostitute in Melbourne. If that's interesting.
Wait, what?
Let's give her
I know
some
a
Melbourne
prostitute there.
recommendations. We'll write
great.
back to your email with a few Melbourne
We
recommendations.
know lesbian and a prostitute.
It can make your life a little bit easier.
All up from here.
Yeah, you're
So
doing
then you'll
well.
have like a crew of like interesting, funky friends.
Yeah. And just
totally.
lean into it and figure it out.
Yeah,
You're
I think
smart
that's
enough to write
great.
this email in question.
And you're
your
smart
journey.
enough to be a fan of us.
Yeah.
So I think that
Yeah.
like that
So
speaks
you're
highly.
gonna be fine.
Exactly. And it's kind of what we were talking about where it's like when you're good at turning a babe into a babe, it's like when you can like laugh at yourself and be like, this is totally ridiculous.
Right.
But also I'm having a really unique, interesting experience rather than it's like not basic. It's like the opposite of being basic. Although I guess like could be basic elements to sort of like moving to the other side of the earth for a guy.
it is,
in
like,
like a
very-
sort of like
It's a very
single white
Felicity
female.
moment, but
Yeah.
it's also, I don't know.
But
just like-
Felicity ended up on the Americans and she was fine.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
So
So it's chill.
She has a really hot husband, right?
yeah.
think so, yeah.
The guy
Okay.
from The Americans.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
she has a
fucking
hot
hot.
baby daddy too.
Oh.
It's
Really?
just like a vineyard, Martha's Vineyard.
I feel like
townie.
Carrie Russell would be cool.
Yeah.
I might
Yeah.
actually hear for her. I think she seems normal.
The moment when Felicity cut her hair is still like one of the craziest moments of my childhood.
It was traumatic.
Yeah.
we
I
all-
watched
we
it at
all
my
heard
piano
that day.
teacher's house before piano lesson that episode, and it was just like I was truly shocked.
I was really shocked. I watched it with my
looked-
mom. My mom was like, "Never cut your hair. Like, don't get ideas." But
I literally thought, I was like, should I cut my hair? All I ever needed was like a woman to do a short haircut, like a Meg Ryan and shag, and then I was like,
no,
on
me
board.
and you. I feel like our faces are too long to have short hair. We would look heinous.
We need a long hair.
We need a long hair.
I did the Meg Ryan shag, and it didn't.
I know.
It was a mistake.
Okay, someone writes, "Hey, Lauren Lion."
Lion. Wait, lion? All right, I'll take it.
Hey, Lara/Ryan. Given the controversial increase in discussion re sexual activity, I wanted to ask you both what your opinion on the following is.
Okay.
I'm gay. I've actually been sleeping with a chick recently, which is my own babe. So I
Wait,
guess
what?
I'm a little bi. Well, you better hide from
What
Ryan. noted bisexual hater.
No.
Anti-bi.
That
You would
is
have been
not
rejected
true.
from the gay community.
No.
But I prefer dudes for sure. I wanted to
that's my
hear
girl.
about your opinion on bisexual men. Oh my God.
No, I
The hate-
believe in it.
interesting.
I do believe
I
in
guess
it.
I always thought men were either straight or gay, and if you were bi, you would learn one way or the other, as I do, or you would lean one way or the other, as I do. But I cannot tell you how many mostly straight men I find. They prefer women for sure, but like giving BJs, etc.
Yeah.
Usually won't go full anal. Last summer, I was at a bar in Tribeca with a friend. Her other friend met us with her boyfriend, who I promptly hooked up with in the bathroom. It might sound fun or sexy,
Chic.
but back in 2016, I was at a friend's wedding and hooked up with a straight guy I was always attracted to, who naturally ignored me completely afterward. I was into him and it sucked. Ryan discusses briefly and I'm special, but it's like I keep meeting these guys. What are your thoughts? Am I just a naive babe? Are all people a little bi? Also, Ryan, I'm not totally sure the demographic breakdown of the readers, but I don't think your discussion of gay sex is turning people off. I think in general, people do not like to talk about sex. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. Well, first of all, I love and support him because he's one of the 10 people that read my book. So he's special to me.
Yeah.
He's special.
Yeah. Yeah, no, fucking straight guys is truly like a drug with a come down. Like when you get it, it's like a high but it always ends up fucking you over. So I totally empathize with that because I have hooked up with a few straight guys and it's like weird.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my lesbian friends are endlessly chasing after straight girls, and I see it just being as like a repetitive.
Ryan,
it's like
enough with
truly
the disrespect.
masochistic. Really.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's crazy because I've hooked up with a few straight guys and I feel like they've all been kind of varying degrees on the sexuality scale. Like there was this one guy that I hooked up with a couple times who in college who truly was not gay, but like truly not even but like liked being wanted. He got off on being
right.
wanted, and he also like liked me and looked up to me. So I think he wanted my approval and he wanted a way to connect with me. And this was like the easiest way was to use the sexuality to like get closer to me a little bit. So that was interesting. And then I've been with guys that are just like straight up gay,
Right.
but then also I don't know.
And closeted.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think
don't know.
everyone
I don't
exists
know.
on a scale of sexuality that's kind of sliding, and then they might lean kind of one way more
Yeah.
than another, but be fluid and open to new
the
experiences.
Kinsey scale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily, but I like bisexual people.
I love a bisexual guy. That's really hot.
That's like
I
the fucking
truly-
dream.
That's so hot.
I'm truly into it. I've dated a couple guys who are bisexual.
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, this one guy when I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, we dated for like a handful of months, and he was truly bisexual, and that he had a boyfriend. Because like a lot of bisexual guys, I think it's like
they just hook up every once in a while.
They get a blowjob once in a while. Yeah, but this guy had a boyfriend for a year or something when he was like living in South America, and then it had like an ex-wife, but like was 27. You know what I mean?
Love.
And I like it because, and I think actually we've talked about this before, that when a guy has taken a dick, I think he's better at fucking. It's like sort of like, how can you be an expert at fucking if you've never been penetrated? Do you know what I mean?
Our producer agrees.
She agrees. Sammy's on board.
We got a Sammy nod.
Wow.
Like, you have to be so... You were the one that told me this, because we were talking about pegging. You were like, you have to be so conscious of like how the other person is responding. You have to be so much more... get in tune with their body if you're the penetrator. So I think then if you get penetrated, then as the penetrator in the future, you're like more
attuned,
wise.
Yeah. And that was like a really interesting... Can I plug the pegging column?
Please plug.
Okay, well, I was anonymous in the column, but I'm coming out again because I'm feeling full of pride.
Oh, she's growing.
One of Karley's columns for Vogue, I talked about pegging under a pseudonym, but I stand by.
Why were you under a pseudonym? Why were you under a pseudonym?
Because I was just nervous at the time. Well, I also didn't want the guy I pegged to like read it and think I was putting him on blast. But at this point, it's like
I talked about you to Vogue.
I think you were still fucking him at the time.
Yeah, I was still fucking him, so it was like dicey. But I really think that every woman should have the experience of fucking a man, because like, to be in the seat, to be the person penetrating someone was such an interesting and cool experience that you don't necessarily get to feel as a woman, because you're always the one to usually being penetrated. So to be like the giver of that and to be in that position, just like physically in that position, is like, it's so, it's empowering.
Picked your girlfriend, right?
No, I never did. I don't like the idea necessarily, just psychologically, of having a penis. Like, I've had strap-ons on before, you know, and when I was like working more as a dom, like I've had guys like suck my strap-on and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fun.
But like looking down and seeing a dick, even if it's a purple dildo and it's obviously fake, there is something about it psychologically that I think changes. I think that I don't think my body looks hot with it. Like, I think it throws me out of the moment. I don't want to be like the penetrator.
Right.
We had this like glass dildo that we used that was like one side kind of gets anchored. You hold it in your vagina while you fuck. And so it's not like, I've never worn like a strap on, but it was like this glass dildo that you hold inside and then you fuck the person with like the more like wiggly part.
So there's no strap. There's no like harness.
Strap. You have to hold it. You have to hold it with your vagina.
Oh my god!
Which
Kegels
requires like it really activates your pelvic floor, and then it also is like giving you sensation while you fuck them. So it just becomes like an extension of your pussy rather than like, I'm now wearing a strap on I'm gonna fuck you with. It was like, it was cool.
That is cool. I would like to fuck a guy, I think.
It's fun.
Because I think I want to see them go through that experience. I've like stuck stuff in guys.
Your boyfriend listens and he's like screaming.
Thank you.
When they like it, it's like I would never want to fuck a guy. I wouldn't want to fuck a guy that like doesn't want me to fuck him.
Right. You know, I'm not going to rape someone.
And like the thing about me is that I would never want to like actually rape.
Yeah, I'm different than a guy because I don't want to.
I'm not like other girls.
I'm not like other girls. I don't want to rape.
No, but like when to fuck a guy and then to see him like really enjoying getting fucked by you is like exciting.
Totally.
And then to like pound his ass and it's like fun.
You're pounding?
You don't just go right into a pound, but then sometimes you like...
Your RT levels were off the chart.
I'm like, I'm feeling masked today.
You're like, yes!
I'm like, lay down, little bitch. No.
Did you say stuff like, I'm going to come in your ass, I'm going to come in your ass?
No, but I wish I had.
Yeah.
I was just like, do you like that?
Yeah. Do you like my girl? I love
and then you go like harder. Yeah, it's like so generic.
Okay, what else?
No, yeah, but you need that. That's okay. This is my new goal in life.
Yeah.
We all need to something.
I highly
work
recommend.
towards.
And more men need to be open to it. I feel like guys really think that, if I get something in my ass, like I'm gay.
God is gay. God is gay if he exists or whatever, because he put the male G-spot inside their asshole, a place that they're so scared of. That's
Wait, I never thought about that.
Yeah. It's insane. It's like the deepest troll for straight men. Being like, I'm going to put a pleasure center in a place where literally you won't go because of like society XOXO. Like, good luck with your project.
But I'm also...
It's like crazy. And I'm like, literally like, you're sleeping on your asshole. Every straight guy, I'm like, you're sleeping on your asshole.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on that asshole.
Wow.
It's like, that is your G-spot, honey. That is your G-spot. And it's crazy to think that like, there are men that don't
would never ever even be open
prostate.
To one moment.
You don't
of like,
get it. It feels so fucking good.
Where do you get it? How do you get it to it? Like,
what do you mean?
I think you just have to be like,
get a prostate massager.
Well, I've never like, this person that I was fucking was like already deep into like his own anal journey, so it didn't take much. Yeah,
he had like an enema built in.
And part of what made he did. What part of what made the like experience so good is because he was like fastidiously clean in his asshole, so he like it was like you could eat a steak off of it.
That's what I meant to say. I don't know what I just said, but I meant to say he like had he would give himself an enema, like he was prepared.
Oh, he would go get a colonic before.
Shut up.
Ew.
Why is that gross?
Just kidding. I just felt like saying it.
Well,
colonics are kind of gross when you think about it.
No, I've done them.
Really, I've never done it.
I've never, but I would love.
It's like not the one.
Yeah. But so that made the experience even more memorable. But like I've never tried.
There's no, it wasn't gross. But
yeah,
I can deal with a little bit of grossness. Probably
I can deal with like maybe a little bit of hair, but I don't.
Men are
like
more
a
understanding
smell.
because we both have assholes. Like, we both like. It's like kind of like. Okay.
I think you just have to be like you have to start with a lot of lube and just be like I'm gonna finger you, and then it.
Do you use gloves?
Gloves?
No, I didn't use gloves with him.
No, don't use gloves.
I fisted his
Shut
ass.
up.
Yeah.
Your fist?
Shut up.
Shut up.
I did not love it. That's
what does
where
it
my
feel like? What does it?
That was where
it
my
opens
line,
up in there.
Oh yeah, it does.
It's you go in with like your hand. I thought like when you fisted, you're just like, oh,
You
like,
actually just punch as hard as you
punch
can.
up their ass.
No,
Yeah,
it's
you just
not how
like
it
get it
works.
in there, but you have to like slowly. It's not like as
vomit.
fisty as you would think that it is. You kind of just squeeze, and I got probably to like here.
Like your knuckles?
Like my
Ew!
knuckles, like, right before, and I was
loose
just like,
asshole
this feels
sister.
too.
I shouldn't shame my loose asshole.
No,
sister.
this feels like
exactly.
it just felt like it was. It was like I knew too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course you know too much. You know more than he knows.
I felt like I got exposed.
You know more than he does.
It was just like okay.
He doesn't know what's going on.
Like I was like, well, I love that I did that once, but like not for me.
No, I don't think I would. I wish I was more open to being up and close and personal with people's butts, but I'm not. But I feel like that's my own problem because I think I would. I like it when people get up close and personal with mine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally. It's quid pro quo.
Yeah, it was fun to do. It was a fun mutual experience with just not.
But I do have one question actually. Like, so if you're trying to find a guy's prostate, like, where is it?
It's
like,
kind
It's
of
not
like
hard
the
to find.
G-spot,
It's really not
actually.
hard to
But
find.
if they're lying face up, do you push up or do you push down?
You push up.
So it's like behind
It's-
their balls.
Yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
G-spot.
I'm a sex expert.
Sexpert.
You should write a column
kidding.
about finding your boyfriend's prostate.
He would love that.
Also,
Yeah.
it's like the dream is to convince.
Let me talk to him. We'll have lunch. Like, Zach, let me
The
tell you
dream
what
is
I
to
think.
do it if
convince
you
a
told me to do
man
it.
that it's like you're just gonna have like anal play as part of the bedroom thing and have him like release his inhibitions about it, and then it's just like open. You can be like sometimes in his ass. Not all the time, but it's
Right.
just like, and not having any like stigma about it and just be
Yeah.
like every once in a while, like,
You like add something to the menu. It becomes like a state, like it's on the menu all the time, but you don't always order it.
Menus
No,
always
yeah.
need to be switched up.
it's
I
like
mean,
a special
every once in a
occasion
while.
where it's like you're both feeling
like, the
kind of like a
produce.
specific type of horny and you're like, I want to fuck you tonight. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you do that.
I love
Okay.
it. What else
love
do we
it.
have?
Okay, let's do one more.
Okay.
Okay. The subject of this.
I tuck her out towards the end. I'm like, come on, let's
done.
wrap it up.
Yeah,
All right,
Ryan's
all right.
done.
When I get done, I get done.
Super babe and anonymous as fuck. Okay, I just finished a to the brim glass of KJ Vintner's Reserve and 2 vodka sodas, and I want to report to you, Lara and Ryan, the biggest babe moment of my life. I've never told anyone.
People, by the way, always write us when they're drunk.
Yeah,
of course.
Which I love.
I've never told anyone this story. I feel like a traveling businessman. You guys are a high-end prostitute that I just need to talk to.
Oh,
I was like,
honestly, I'm a high-end prostitute. I always wanted. What?
Classist, where it's like you're not one of like the cheap prostitutes.
Yeah,
you're not like a
totally.
street hooker.
Yeah.
You're like a middle class adjacent.
I was like 19 years old. I was going to bed, weeknight, whatevs. This dude that I'd had a moment with was traveling with his band and called me. They were passing my... It's a girl, okay. I think. They were... Yeah, it is. They were passing my city on the way to their next gig and about 4 hours from where I was. I told him to have them drop him off in the parking lot and I'd pick him up because I was going to fuck his dick off and then drive him to the gig the next day.
Fuck his dick off?
I've never heard that.
That's really not a hot come on.
I was in a
I'd be
very...
like, I like my dick on.
You fucked a guy's dick off.
I did, actually.
You actually did fuck a dick off.
Yeah, and it was traumatic.
You're like, honey, let me tell you.
Don't recommend it. Yeah.
I was in a very live, laugh, love time in my life. He did, we did, the end. He's not even an important part of the story. The next morning, I was planning to call in sick to work and drive with this dude. Unfortunately, I struggle with a cold call-in, and when my girlfriend/director's assistant answered, I said, she said, we really need you. I was like, oh, for sure. I still thought I could get out of it. So I went in with the intention of seeming too sick to work. She asked me what was going on, and I swear I was just trying to come up with something to get me sent home. So I said, I'm pregnant, and started crying. She immediately had me sit down with the director and tell her about my difficult situation.
No.
And then I had to work the rest of the day. You guys, I full on committed and faked this fucking pregnancy to them and my ex, who the baby would have belonged to. Why include him? Who knows? Anyways.
Wait. She included the ex in her life?
That is you're desperate to be fucked if this is...
Anyways, the director took me to a super Christian place. One of those places that's like, you have choices. Then they give you the pregnancy test and tell you abortion is murder. They gave me the pregnancy test, which came back negative. Duh. I told the director that it was negative, and they said it could mean that I miscarried because the hormones weren't multiplying anymore. Is this science or just babe? They did not tell me that. I faked a miscarriage a week later and didn't go into work.
It was a new faking an orgasm?
Oh my God.
It was so heavily fabricated that I almost told my mom, but the conversation went like this. Mom, we need to talk. She goes, is it serious? Then I don't want to know. Okay, never mind.
That's my mom. I'm like, literally, is it serious? Because don't tell me. Anyways, my neighbor.
It's been like 15 years, and I feel like less of a babe, but unfortunately, that ex and all those peeps still think that I had a miscarriage, all because I was trying to get out of work to drive a one-night stand to a gig with his shit band. Also, did he ever get to his show? Yes. I called another dude who I was sleeping with to drive him. Babe.
Wait. That's kind of hilarious.
I mean, I feel like it's just like a proof of like women are crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where like you fake abortions, you fake rape. It's like, it's real.
Yeah. You faked your pregnancy. Then you went to a place, got a pregnancy test that you knew would be negative.
But my main thing is like, why didn't you just like abandon this lie quickly? Like, why weren't you just like, oh, I'm pregnant, and then the next day be like, oh, JK, false alarm. Like, what? Why did she keep the lie going? I don't understand that.
Yeah, like, and
why didn't she
when they said it came back negative for you, were like, oh, I must have gotten a false positive.
Yes, exactly. I don't understand why it got so deep. I don't understand
it. Got really deep.
But it didn't have to.
I think some liars, it just has to go deep. Yeah.
Well, I think some liars are just bad. I can't
not being good at the cold call-in. It's like, honey, come on. All you have to do is call in.
I know. If you can't fake a cold, you can't fake a pregnancy.
You just plug your nose, and then you call in and you go, I'm so sick today. I'm so sorry, but like I want to come into work, and then that's it.
Pretty good.
Yeah, and then or you just tell them you have diarrhea.
We had a funny.
You get always a one-shot diarrhea.
We had a funny joke on One Great. So it was Karen called in. She goes, "I'm sick." She had a cold. She goes, "I broke my ankle."
Literally any excuse is fine.
I broke my ankle.
But get better at the cold calling.
But I love that people just like email you to tell you that. It's like, why are they telling you that story?
We'll never know.
I don't know.
Because we made it a safe space.
Oh, we did.
This is a safe space?
You don't understand. The stories we get are truly insane.
And the stories we tell are insane. Like I got abducted by a Lyft driver.
No,
so
but
it's
but that's not your fault. Like you didn't. You know what I mean? Whatever.
But I just like that, like, people
are...
Because I do, like, an Ask Slut Ever column, I feel like I get the same thing where people are like, I can't tell anyone this. And then it's just, like, the scariest story. And I'm like, oh, people, like, don't have friends. They don't have a therapist. They don't have anyone. So they just, like email strangers from the internet. Like, their deepest, darkest secrets.
Yeah, because they don't have that outlet. You're right.
Yeah.
And all my friends are like, anyways, my fucking... It's, like, literally the first appetizer. It's like, well, let me tell you a thing or two.
Exactly.
Wait, how are we on time?
I mean, it's long. Oh my God, Laura, we gotta go.
We have to go.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Edit some of it out.
I told Sammy, I was like, we're not gonna go long this time.
Too late.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Okay.
Good.
Thank
Thank you for being our guest.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm so honored. I feel like they're really good company.
Good.
Your last guest was very great. So
yeah, no, it's been good.
No, it's good. And buy Karley's book. It's called Slut Ever.
And watch her show.
Watch her show. Also called Slut Ever.
Exactly.
Lots of Slut Evers. And honestly, read her book if you're feeling TBD about your sexual journey or you're not feeling empowered or you feel a little gross about sex.
Yeah.
Because you will read her book and be like, oh wait, I can do literally whatever I want. I'm a fucking boss bitch.
True. If you're an aspiring slut, read the book. I think that's really...
I think honestly, like the people,
And don't get too hung up on your weird sexual past.
No.
Because it's just
waste
leading
of time.
It's leading to a better future.
Exactly.
Waste of time. All right.
And write us emails, babepodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, write us reviews because they've stopped.
Oh, Ryan needs
And it
more
really
reviews.
upsets me. I need 10 reviews
If
to
you have
survive.
not rated this podcast 5 stars and written a review, what are you really doing with your life?
Yeah. Don't be a babe.
Don't be a babe. Be a babe. And write a
right.
review so Ryan feels okay.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram @babepodcast. And that's it.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.